Have you lost weight only to gain it right back after returning to your routine? Did your diet work for someone else but not you? Rockin' That ID Life helps you understand your genetic makeup to find a lifestyle that fits your needs. Together, you and RockinThatIDLife.com can focus on your health and meet your goals today. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. If you haven't heard, Center Ice Brewery beer is now exclusively available at beer stores around town, so make sure you pick some up on your next milk and eggs run. That's Center Ice Brewery. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to Season 10, Episode 55 of Let's Go Blues Radio. This is the fully vaccinated, often imitated, but never duplicated, better ingredients, better pizza, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by RockinThatIDLife.com and by Center Ice Brewery. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, August 31st, 2022. This is franchise episode number 373 all time. I'm Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by the soon-to-be mayor of Troy, Illinois, Kurt Price. But you didn't know that, did you, Kurt? You should be.
I really should be.
You should be. I'd vote for you.
I'd make a lot of changes here, I tell you what.
I tell you what, son.
I tell you what.
Bill Day is on assignment. We will be reliving one of our favorite games in Blues history, Game 4, between the Blues and Blackhawks of their divisional series in 1993. Don't forget to find us on every social media platform. We're dual live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So hello to our live audience, and thanks for joining us. To those of you in the YouTube chat who are already giving us trouble about getting banned, getting canceled, that is not going to happen this time. We have basically done all we can do to make sure YouTube and Facebook won't hate us for streaming this game. So we should be okay to roll this game this episode.
If we get shut down this time, it is because they hate us.
Yes.
Because this game is out there already.
There's a vendetta against Let's Go Blues Radio if we get shut off this time.
Something about the Roar Bacon game gets flagged.
I don't get it.
And they shut it down. Is something about it. I don't know why.
I don't get it. And I'm clearly not ready for the show because I have not poured my beer yet. I haven't even tweeted my beer yet.
Drinking it. I got my Patrick Swayze beer mug. From Youngblood fame.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We don't want to release any information, but we did just get word tonight about Bill having some, let's just say, some family issues. So he's fine, but just want a heartfelt, Bill, we love you. And if you're listening, we hope everything's going well. And we look forward to having you back on here in the next couple weeks.
Positive vibes to Bill's family.
Yep, for sure. So anyway, talking about some positive stuff for this past week, 2 weeks, however long it's been. Kurt, anything going on in your life? Anything to uplift us before we get into this game?
Kind of just in the slugging out. What's the word? Slugging it out? Not slugging it out. Slurge before training camp. It's like the dead zone era, the dead zone time of the year for NHL. This is nothing going on. Little story every now and then, but nothing for the Blues in a while. So that's why we're doing this kind of. So it's a little sit back, kick back, and have some fun.
Yeah. It's it is definitely that part of summer where I think we've kind of come around the bend, right? Because I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago where it really was just like, okay, this sucks. There's nothing going on. Not there's anything really going on right now, but we're at least starting to like see players are getting back into the cities they play for across the NHL. Training videos have been popping up on TikTok and Instagram. We're starting to get to a point where training camp is a real thing that's going to be here in a couple weeks, and
Yep.
that is exciting because we're getting there, right?
The season is not starting in early October like it usually does. It's what is it, October 20 something or whatever it is, something like that, right?
October 14th,
I believe it is.
I thought, for the Blues.
Is it 14th? Okay, that's like a good. It's like 10ish days before later than usual. So it's a little bit longer.
We talked about this when COVID hit, that we are actually, like, me and you were okay with the NHL basically taking a couple years to get back to a normal schedule, which we're still seeing, because it was like, July 10th was free agency this year. It's always July 1st. Yeah. So we're still kind of seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? Yeah, it's a couple weeks difference or whatever it is. And next season, I would imagine, assuming there are no more shutdowns or anything, next season you should be back on track to the normal schedule. But it is what it is. Whatever.
So October 15th, by the way, is Blues home opener, the season opener against the
season opener.
So yeah.
Usually it's like the first week of October, like late on the 6th, 7th, something like that.
Yep.
So
So getting ready for the season, some news that we kind of released today that I wanted to go ahead and get out to anybody who may not be following us on social, or maybe don't pay as close to attention with hockey season not being here yet. Last call for jersey orders. We're doing another round of jersey orders for Let's Go Blues Radio jerseys. If you haven't seen them, they're fantastic. There's one over my right shoulder. And it's we all have one. A lot of people ordered last time. Right now, I think we're up to 7 or 8 for this order. So I think once we get to 10, we get free shipping. So that makes it even better for everybody. So if you're interested, just reach out to us on social media, any of us really. I'm the one manning the charge. So if you can get to me, that'd be easiest. It's going to be $45 per jersey. And, of course, you get your name, your number, and whatever size fits you best. Wanting to get that order out by Friday evening. So at least let me know you're interested if you're hearing this today, and we'll get you a jersey. Sounds like we put them out on the ice. Kurt and I, we've joked. I know I've worn them for a couple of games that I've filled in, and then you and I both have worn them for tournaments. They have not been the winningest jerseys yet for whatever reason.
No, but I had to switch. I actually switched to a Bruins jersey during the tournament to try and change the tide.
But I will say one of my goalies, John, oh my God, John's going to kill me. I'm drawing a blank on his last name.
Just say John.
John, my friend John. John, he
you only have 14 of
Zahner.
Those.
John Zahner, that's his name. I know a John Zeman and a John Zahner, both the Z's. It's very odd. But anyway, John, he bought one the first round, and he's a goalie, and he wears it all the time. And he's a very winning goalie. So he's got luck with it, but maybe it's just the show hosts. We just can't get victories with it.
It has to be. I don't know.
We can't promote ourselves.
It did not fare well at all.
No.
And I hadn't played, in the Jersey's defense, I hadn't played. The last time I played was the year before, or 2 years before in the tournament. So I was not exactly in the best game shape either. So
no. And are you planning on playing the Ponder Cup again this year? If so, you should get back on the rink soon.
It was such a rough go last time for me. If I do, I have to play like a dozen times before. I don't know. Right now it's a no, but if I can find the time to actually skate and play, for a few months before the tournament, maybe. We'll see.
Well, let's hope I hope we can get you back out there because we don't get Bill out there anymore. We got him out there once?
Yeah, I think the first time we
first
played,
or
right?
second,
second time. Yeah, no, The first
it was at Madison,
which was two times.
Was a while ago. Yeah,
it was Madison, and then at Queenie. He played at Queenie once, I believe.
There you go.
I believe he played twice.
Okay, well there you go. So anyway, but yeah, Ponder Cup. Keep that in mind. We'll talk more about it as it gets closer. But signups are going for that as well. If you're interested, again, reach out to me or there's Facebook event. Go over dropinstl.com. We'll share that as the season gets closer as well. So, but let's go ahead and get into our official beers of episode number 373. Remember, you can follow each of us on the Untapped app. Kurt's at CPrice12, Bill's at Billy Blue Note 33, and myself can be found at JPonder94. That is going to be something I'm going to focus on going into the season, is using that app more. Because I drink during the summer, don't get me wrong, but I kind of have I'm kind of a curmudgeony old man in the summer that I stick to the same beer. There's 3 or 4 that I'll drink. But man, when winter hits and fall hits, I kind of try everything I can. So
I'm with you.
Yeah, do the same thing.
In the summer, I'll go. In the summer, I'll have 2 or 3. 2 or 3 summery beers.
Yep.
But in the fall, that opens up a lot more. Because it's stouts and all kinds of darker beers and stuff that I'll put in my rotation. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Well, good. I'm not the only one then. Good. We're both pumpkin beers together.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so what's your beer of the episode tonight, Mr. Price?
I've got the 312 Lemonade Shandy. Got a number of these in the fridge. I guess I should get rid of these before too long. If we're
I got some
talking
of those too.
fall, because they're really good. This was kind of like my beer of the summer. This was the Summer of Kurt beer.
Summer of Kurt.
Yeah, it was. I didn't do a lot of Bud Light Orange this summer. I did more 312 Lemonade Shandy, which is quite good, from Goose Island Beer Company, which is a Chicago-based brewery. So I will say on this podcast, like I said about my Sam Adams beer, the show after the Blues won the Cup, I own this Goose Island Chicago beer like the Blues own the Chicago Blackhawks.
Nice.
Lately.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. And in a game that we're going to discuss today. We're going to watch and discuss.
If we can get there.
Yeah. Let's hope. Because, the Blues owned the Blackhawks in that last one we tried to show as well.
Yeah, right. It did.
Let's see. Official beer. So from Winning Unlimited, official beer is a Poolside Breeze by Perennial. I've never had that. That sounds interesting.
I haven't either. Have you had any of Perennial's beers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Up Down over in Central West End is a great spot it's an arcade bar for anyone who pays attention. I'm a nerd.
I love Up Down.
Great spot. They've got a bunch of Perennial there. So whenever I'm there, I usually drink Perennial.
I had the high score in the Galaga game there.
Did you?
I had the high score in Galaga for, I don't know how long I was there. I mean, I had it when I was there. And I don't know if they unplug the games every night and they get new scores or whatever, but it was the highest score of the day, and we were there late. So
that's pretty good. It was the highest score of the day. I got there right at open.
It was like 170,000, something like that. So,
so my beer of the episode, I have switched to the fall beers, which last year I remember the fall beers came out in mid-August and just being I'm not ready. This year, I feel like the heat hasn't been as bad. It was worse earlier in the summer. So I'm okay switching right now to fall. So that's what I've been doing. And these are my favorite types of beers. So we're going with the Leinenkugel Oktoberfest. The glare. I always forget about the glare.
Yes.
But that's what I'm going with. And I'm like you. I do still have a lot of my summer beer in the fridge that I won't need to drink. But as of right now, it's all about fall beer, and I've been picking those up in the store every time I go.
Did you see what Matt Harris said about the
reverse retro leak? I have not seen that. No, me neither. If you could share a link, Matt, we would love to hear about it.
Yeah, share a link. I've not been paying attention. I didn't notice a leak.
Are we just bad blues podcasters?
No, you're thinking of somebody else.
Oh, every other blues podcast. Okay.
Right. Everybody else.
It's everyone else. It's not us.
You're thinking of everyone else, Jeff. Literally everyone else.
Of course. Well, go ahead and give us that link there, Matt, from my tweet the other day. You think I just follow your? I just have notifications when Matt Harris tweets. Yeah, that's what I do, Matt. Yeah, go ahead and let's get that pulled up, Kurt, and then we will. I'll go ahead and break us for hearing from our friends over at Rockin' That ID Life, and when we come back, we'll talk about this reverse retro league, and then we'll get into this awesome game and talk about some mystery hockey theater. Every beer league hockey night, I grab my hockey bag and sticks and throw them in the trunk of my car, and the very next thing I do, I mix up a boost of energy courtesy of RockinThatIDLife.com. It's formulated to break up its delivery in 3 ways, which helps me get through all 3 periods of hockey. Phase 1 provides a rapid onset of energy, concentration, alertness, and motivation. By period 2, I'm receiving a dose of sustained energy, increased focus, metabolism, cognitive function, performance, and feelings of well-being, which I need with the way I play. In Phase 3, I'm getting fatigue protection without jitters and crash, an elevated mood, and a reduction of fluid retention to help me make the big play when it counts. This same triphasic approach helps me when I drink it during work hours or simply just for a pick-me-up when I need it. Try one of the 4 energy flavors by visiting RockinThatIDLife.com, but make sure to email Dustin at RockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order. That's RockinThatIDLife.com. Okay. Apparently this is the leak. He's being silly.
Oh, God.
I hate you, Matt Harris. You had me believing. It's that terrible Trumpets logo, terrible jersey
cool cat jersey
that we saw in the Cool Cat jersey from the 90s. And I got it on the screen here if you're watching the video.
Yeah, the one that Keenan nixed. One of the few good things that came out of his tenure here.
Yeah, that's clearly a bad joke from Mr. Harris. You got us. You fooled us, sir. Congratulations.
I was gonna say
not that hard to fool.
Jersey League. Let's yeah. Why is our video on top of the template? That's weird. Or is that just me?
Whoa. I don't know. I don't know.
I've never seen that before.
I'm so confused. Hang on. I can fix this. Hey, there we go.
Hey, all right.
Something about sharing my screen there, I think, screwed us up. But
it's much better.
Well, we do look great. Hang on. So let's get this going. Hang on a second. Here we go with our mystery hockey theater.
Sweet.
Back here at the noisy St. Louis Arena.
First of all,
under the big dome, Rob
think the sound's good? Do I need to do any adjustments with sound?
And the line called the
maybe turn it down a little bit.
Checkers par excellence are starting for the St. Louis Blues. Brent Sutter, Jeremy Roenick, and Stefan Matteau
how's that?
for the
Is that better?
Blackhawks. Brian Marchman and Chris Chelios to defend. The Scuds are Kevin Miller.
I know Doc Emmerich does talk a lot when he
broadcasts. Icing on Chicago.
I'll bring it down a little bit more. There we go. How about that?
That's good. That's good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
If the listeners can't hear it on their end or they would like it.
Yeah, please. If you're watching live, let us know what you think. If we turn that down, turn it up, whatever, let us know. So going into this game, which kind of kicks right off the bat here, unlike how we usually have some pregame in here, the Blackhawks ended the season 47, 25, and 12, 106 points. Finished first in the Central, third in the NHL, only behind the Penguins and Bruins. The Blues finished as the worst team to make the playoffs. They were 37, 36, and 11 for 85 points. But this is Game 4. Blues are up 3-0 in this series. We'll talk about Curtis Joseph in a minute, but the top line of the Blues came up huge in this series. Shanahan, Janney, and Hall just went nuts.
The Blues actually made the playoffs on the last day of the season.
Yeah.
And so, and the Blackhawks, like I said, they finished third overall in the NHL, and they finished first in the Campbell. So this is essentially a 1 versus 8 seed game in today's format.
Yeah, well, today's format, it kind of mirrors this, but yeah,
right,
in the 1 versus 8,
well,
yeah.
Not today's format, I'm sorry. I meant like when it was seeded 1 through 8. This was a 1 through 8 matchup.
Yeah, this was best in the West versus worst in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And Blues up 3-0 in this series. The checking line for the Blues, which had Bobby Basson, was it Rich Sutter and Dave Lowry? Not sure who the other winger was, but they shut down the Roanoke line.
Big hit by Marchment.
Winning Unlimited says maybe a tad lower on the game value.
Yeah, I just turned it down a bit. I'll turn it down a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, Brian Marchment in this game, R.I.P. Somebody I have no problem saying I hated as a player. Couldn't stand playing against him. This series comes to mind, and of course the Sharks series in 2000 and 2001 come to mind as well.
He's a perfect guy to have on the Hawks as a rival.
Oh, yeah.
Just a guy you love to hate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Dirty as hell. Dirty player, but great for that era.
Yeah. Ooh, guy, that's a fantastic hit. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Suspension worthy in today's NHL?
I need to see the replay, see if he got, head, principal point of contact, all that good stuff.
I mean, he was the Scott Stevens type player that would hit you in the head when he got the chance.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And that was the era where as long as your elbow was down, it was a clean hit.
So a little bit more insight into this series. So again, Blues up 3-0 in this series. The Blackhawks at this time had been shut out for 2 games straight by Curtis Joseph. He had a shutout streak going into this game of 151 minutes and 9 seconds. He stopped 105 of 109 in the series heading into this game. 96 total saves during his shutout streak. I loved Jeremy Roenick's quote about the Blues checking ability after Game 3. He says, quote, "I'm not going to make any excuses. They're squeezing the juice out of my stick. When you're snake bitten, you're snake bitten." And I mean, Roenick was a dynamic player at this point in his career. They could not get any offense going against this Blues defense and against Curtis Joseph.
No, Roenick finished with 107 points this season. 50 goals, 57 assists. He was the leading point getter by far. And his only goal in this series comes, I believe it's the third period in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable.
Real late, actually.
And they had not scored on Curtis Joseph at this point since Game 1, second period. Brian Noonan scored, whose fans are familiar with, but Brian Noonan had scored in Game 1. That was the last goal of the series to this point for the Blackhawks.
I remember Joseph was playing so well in this series and in this playoff year. The fans were standing up and bowing. We're not worthy.
Yep.
That was the thing. This playoff year for the Blues.
I should have put the quote in here somewhere. Big save by Belfour there. I did see it.
Poor defense by Chicago too.
Nelson Emerson's speed was apparent in this series too. He was phenomenal.
Such a great depth player.
He was.
Such a great. I mean, he was fun, small, like a Cliff Ronning type guy.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just a beautiful pass. But again, how is he that wide open? Jeff Brown moving in from.
Jeff Brown chance. Yeah.
Jeff Brown, friend of the show. Jeff Brown.
That's a real good play by Jeff Brown.
Blocked me on Twitter.
Yeah, sorry, I never seen Jeff Brown.
Misread by the Chicago defense allows him to come in wide side.
But no, I saw a quote from Joseph.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of Jeff Brown, he finished 78 points, and which was 25 goals, 53 assists. He would have been second on the Hawks in scoring, and he was fourth on the Blues in scoring.
Yeah, and that was the highest point total by a Blues defenseman, and that's still the record for Blues defensemen in one season. So that's a very impressive year. This was right in the midst of him being my favorite player. I was 8 years old. This was my 8th birthday, actually.
Ooh.
Oh!
Bozon missed the open net there. The backhand, sweeping backhand, missed the open net. It's so funny, watching this and seeing the numbers, and the SD resolution uploaded to YouTube is not great, but you see the numbers. I don't need to see the name. I know the names.
Oh yeah,
It's so cool.
Yep, this era of Blues hockey, about 92-ish to about, honestly now, but I'd say about 2004-ish was when I was obsessed. And yeah, you could give me a number and I could tell you what player wore it in what season. Yeah. So yeah, same here.
Dave Lowry, Wilson, number 18.
Yep.
Zombo, number 4.
Yeah, this is the point of the series here where Roenick was clearly frustrated and he went to his physical game, which is what he needed to do. But, he had no offense. He had no answer for Joseph. So he just went out and started trying to take the body on every Blues player and get some physical play started.
Here's the thing, too, with, the Hawks. The Hawks finished with the best record in the Campbell Conference, 3rd overall in the NHL, and 107 points. And they were a really good team this year. But, Roenick was so much of their offense. After Roenick, if you shut him down, the Blues were a much more dynamic offensive team this season than Chicago was. Blues had, Steve Larmer was the Hawks' second leading scorer, and he'd have been 6th on the Blues in scoring.
Yeah.
So the Blues had Janney 106 points, Hull 101 points, Shanahan 94. Hull and Shanahan both had over 50 goals. And you got Brown 4th in scoring. Emerson was 73 points. Kevin Miller with 46 points, 24 goals. So, they were a nice offensive club. And if you give that kind of team goaltending like Joseph's giving them, they're going to be tough to beat. They're going to score some goals on you.
Well, and again, you mentioned Jeff Brown moving in from the point, scoring points. Puck control is clearly a big part of hockey, as anyone who watches the shows knows. So you got a guy like Jeff Brown back there moving in on the offense, playing with a Shanahan, a Janney, and a Hull, and keeping the puck off the sticks of some of these top Chicago players. You got to bury your chances when you're Chicago. And they couldn't, because like you said, Joseph was back there when there was a slip up on the Blues D. He was back there to make the play.
This was Janney's first full season with the Blues after the Oates trade, and he led the team in scoring, 106 points. 5
How
more
about
than
that?
Hull.
Craig Janney leading the Blues in points, 100-point score. I remember the trade happening, and I'm sure you do too.
Oh,
but
God.
I remember thinking, Craig Janney, okay, and I was a kid, but not thinking that was going to be anything significant, because Adam Oates was Adam Oates. But man, Janney stepped in and started playing great hockey pretty quickly for the Blues.
He did. Janney was a very good assist man. But he was always, to me, like a poor man's Oates. So, as good as he was with us, it was always disappointing to say, should be Oates, right?
That's true. Oh, that iconic Joseph mask. God, I love it.
Yeah, that Elliott brought back.
Yep, I love it. I hope Bennington does at some point too.
These jerseys should be the throwbacks this year.
100%.
These jerseys have gotten zero love, and
I don't get that. These were so much better. And I want to ask somebody who, younger fans who seem to love those terrible late 90s jerseys, what do you think of these? Like, if you liked those, like the one you're wearing, Kurt, what about the ones before it that basically bled into that design? Because there was a little red in these jerseys, just striping.
Pinstripe red. Yeah. I guarantee you what they say. They say they're boring. Because if you're the kind of guy person that likes the clown jerseys, you like that bold, in your face, risky theme. And this style jersey is a classic NHL style jersey.
Yep.
And I think it just works. Actually, the only thing I'd change about this jersey is take the word St. Louis off the blue note. That's it.
I agree, but I think that if they're going to do the throwback, you got to throw St. Louis on the logo.
I guess with throwbacks, you have creative freedom, creative liberties to change it, like they did last year. It was like they'd take an idea and they'd reverse it. And they'd have some freedom. I'm sure they'd have the same, maybe, but I'd have no problem with them putting St. Louis on it. But I think ideally, for me personally, I think that's the only change I'd make.
But, yeah, I see that. I think if they redid these jerseys now, I agree. You take St. Louis off, but I think if they go with a retro look, I think you keep it on.
Yep.
So, Blackhawks on the power play here. Murray Barron gets a penalty for basically wrestling a player into the crease, which is something you saw a lot more often in these days.
Man, the clutching and the grabbing and the players fighting through stuff and the nasty slap. I mean, got away with so right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hook on the hands and the stick, and turn over the blue line, and the blue's clear. That was Wilson.
One
so that was, that was common, and that was never a penalty, ever.
Oh yeah. One referee in this game, which is obviously the norm at this point in the NHL. Rich Sutter almost puts it in his own net. One ref in this game, Rob Schick. Remember Rob Schick, Kurt?
Oh yeah, Rob Schick. I have a story about Rob Schick. I'll save it for when the incident happens late in the game. Because I was at this game. This was until the Blues Cup run. For me, this was the best Blues game in history. I was there. The crowd was amazing. Loud. The roof came off this place.
I'm excited for the first goal because there's never been and there never will be a name to chant like Ed Belfour. When you hear the chant, it is. I mean, if you had never seen a hockey game in your life, you could make out what Blues fans are saying here. I mean, it is clear Belfour. It's the perfect name to chant.
And you know what's funny is something you won't see nowadays is that they would put on the Jumbotron, they'd get the crowd going. They'd have Bell, a picture of a bell, and the number 4, and back and forth. They'd get the crowd to start chanting the goalie, which you wouldn't see nowadays. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see a Jumbotron trying to get the crowd to antagonize an opposing goalie necessarily. So I don't think you would. But yeah, and they're so loud. Belfour. It's like perfectly said. It's the perfect name to do that with.
Oh yeah, I know I've told the story before, but when the Blues met the Stars again in 2001 and swept Belfour again, I remember walking out of the game and being in that parking lot across from, I guess at the time it was Kiel, and still hearing Belfour, and it was just deafening. Like, you could be across town and you would hear Blues fans still chanting Belfour. I mean, it was insane.
And it wasn't just a matter of chanting. It was the guy was an asshole.
Yep.
So it wasn't like you're chanting a good guy. He was a dick, and he played it for your rival, your bitter rival. And the chanting, the chanting was also before the Predators fans started sticking "You suck" at the end, which is so trashy.
Blues fans tried to adopt that for a while. Blues fans tried to adopt that for a while, and I hated it. I'm like, no, you just got to chant the dude's name as long as you can.
You don't. The whole chanting is saying you suck. That's the whole point of it. You don't have to dumb it down and say you suck at the end. It takes all the creativity out of it. It's okay. Now we're grade schoolers. Okay, we're no longer being clever.
Listen, if it works for Nashville, fine. I don't like it. I think it sucks. But for whatever reason, people in Nashville love it. Okay, fine. Use it. It pisses us off, so you're probably doing it right? Blues fans hate it. So I'm cool with it. But at the same time, I'm telling you, Blues fans, don't try to adopt that shit. It sucks. I don't like it. I think just, hey, let's chant this goalie's name for 5 minutes. That's the way to go.
But into the seats it sailed, and so play is stopped.
I used to have this game on tape somewhere because I had my ABC afternoon game.
Okay, so we are jumping ahead in coverage here. We're moving ahead to 7:42 left in the first period. Still a 0-0 game.
It's a good sign.
Sorry, so you had this game on tape. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably take this game.
Well, I went to the game and I had my parents record it just in case they won. I could have it, and I wanted to watch it later, just because you're at the game, you may miss replays and you may want to see a play in closer detail. So yeah, it was on VHS. I have no idea. I'm sure I have it somewhere still.
Yeah, I know my parents used to record every game I was at because they were like, you were such a crazy person, and I used to get on the Jumbotron all the time. So they were like, one of these days you're going to get on TV, and I did a couple times. But yeah, that's why they record it. Mom would be like, oh, look, you're on TV. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's not surprising. I was a dumb, crazy. Oh, go ahead.
Loving the ads along the ice. I guess on the boards she's talking about. The old ads.
Those of you watching live with us, whether on Facebook or YouTube, how many of you were alive for this game, first of all, and how many of you actually remember this game if you were alive for it?
What's funny is that the guy I went to the game with was our goalie on our team at the time, and he was legally blind.
Really?
I mean, legally blind doesn't mean you're blind. You have really bad vision, and you need corrective lenses past a certain point. I think that's how it works. Somebody more knowledgeable on the subject may correct me on that, but I think I'm in the ballpark. But he said he was legally blind. Shots on goal in the series: Chicago 114, St. Louis 72.
Goes to show you how good the goaltending was. Legally blind, though, that was a great Reese Witherspoon movie, correct?
Yes.
I mean, right there.
Joseph tracking this puck in that sequence right there kind of defines the whole series.
Yep.
Because even when he's falling back on his butt, he's got his head up. He's tracking the puck.
Yep. And this again, this is frustrating as a hockey player. For the Blackhawks, especially a team who was expected, they were in the Stanley Cup final the year before, lost to the Penguins. They're expected to go back. And here they are in the first round playing the worst team in the playoffs, statistically. And they cannot beat this goaltender. They can't figure him out. And this was kind of, Joseph's already kind of proven at this point that he's a great starting goalie in the NHL. But this is kind of his coming out party. This is holy shit, this dude is phenomenal, and he's going to have a great career. And at the time, I think Blues Nation thought this guy's going to lead us to a couple cups.
The conversations, the reunions that they've had from these teams, every one of these players will tell you they should have won a cup with this group. They were really good. I mean, their regular season results didn't really pan out because they barely made the playoffs. But there were some teams in this era that really had a good shot, and they just didn't do anything. Brandy Capone says she was 1 year old when this, and Matt Harris was -5.
Oh God.
Hey, Brandy Capone's older than somebody in this chat. How about that?
Woo! I mean, let's face it here, too. Ed Belfour's having a pretty good series, too. He's doing his job. They just can't score goals.
Yeah, and I think his numbers weren't great, but again, this was in an era where goal scoring was up and goalie numbers were down. But I think he was like 8-8-9 or something like that for the series save percentage. But again, I mean, some of the goals the Blues. Oh, yeah, it took a hack there. Who was that? Somebody bumped into Belfour and he turned around and gave him a whack. God, I love Blues Blackhawks playoff hockey. Yeah, and the ads on the boards, like Randy was saying. Pepsi, the old Pepsi logo, the 103.3, Clue 103, Sports Authority.
Yeah.
Bush and Bush Light, KPLR TV.
Yep. Upper Deck.
Yep. This was back in the day where the Blues were on KPLR.
Yep.
10-11.
Woo!
This is fun hockey,
Dirk
man.
Graham just, I mean, absolutely did everything he could to hook a guy to the rink. No penalty. And here's that Blues top line just pressing.
Swarming. This, I mean, hockey is not like this anymore. And there are pluses and minuses about that. I mean, you could argue that the game is better in a lot of ways today and it's worse in a lot of ways today. But you watch games like this and just the style and how it's played, it's not quite as fast as today's game. It's a little more mucking, a little more grinding, but it doesn't seem as dirty in a way. I loved it. This was, I've said before, this is my favorite era of NHL.
This is a great era of hockey.
From like 90 to 95, 6. Yeah.
If you could take my favorite player of all time, Chris Braun, and put him on this Blues team, that would make this my favorite era. That's the only thing missing, because he would have, as much as he would have thrived in this era of hockey, as opposed to when he did thrive, I mean, he would have been the hands down the best defenseman in the NHL. But there was a little bit more penalty calling in his day. And keep in mind, this is right before he was drafted.
Running Limited says, who are the announcers? It's Doc Emmerich. And who's the color?
I forgot. I know Tom Mee is on the boards. I'm trying to remember who it is on the color. Might have to look that up. Do you want to mention, I think Big Play's coming here soon for the Blues. He's on the power play.
I think something happens over soon.
Oh, yeah. Look at Cujo. I mean, it's so funny watching goalies play the puck back then, too, because this was right before Brodeur started showing that goalies could play the puck. Joseph just basically hacking at the puck. There it is.
There we go. The deflection in front. Oh, man.
Just pandemonium at the old arena.
Yeah, because you're up 3-0 and you score first in Game 4, and they still haven't scored on you, and you're like, it's just more of the same.
And it's Brett Hull. Brett Hull again.
Yeah, right.
This is his, I believe, fourth goal of the series at this point.
Your best players are playing the best.
Brett Hull's on the point, but he finds himself in
I don't think he made contact with Belfour before this goal, though.
Good job keeping the puck into the blue line. A giveaway by the Hawks. There's Brett Hull redirecting the puck.
Yeah, so Hall goes in front of the net. Just deflects it right past an outstretched Belfour. No chance for him.
Might have gone under his arm or over his arm and like off the post.
I think it went under his arm.
Golly.
Yeah,
love it.
That goal was Brett Hull from Jeff Brown at the point, who looked like the puck might have scored it out of the zone, but Brown keeps it in, gets it right to the net, and Brett Hull's right there waiting for it.
Fans waving some brooms right now. There's a nice picture of the in the Belleville News Democrat. And actually, I'll go grab it here in a second because I've got the sports page from the Democrat from the next morning. And Shanahan's waving one of the brooms the fans threw on the ice.
I mean, this is just an onslaught from the Blues right here. Just swarming. And this is what the Blackhawks put up with in all 4 games of the series.
And I can tell you from being at this game, the atmosphere of this game was just, it was one of those ones where you could just feel it.
I'm turning up the volume here.
Play again is tough. Watch this good one-on-one battling along the boards and in front of the Chicago goaltender Ed Belfour, and the Blues winning a lot of those battles. Bozone showing good strength, fighting.
And it was, like I said, you could feel the energy just like hitting your body in waves. It was so awesome.
I mean, the chant of his name is legendary to me. Like, when I think of Blues, when the crowd gets into it, I think of chanting Belfour.
He's going to get back up in his feet. The play continues.
Let me grab that newspaper.
Go ahead.
The Blues winning the one-on-one battles.
That sounds like Jim Schoenfeld. That's who that is. I'll tell Kurt when he gets back. But that's who it is in color. Jim Schoenfeld. Wait till he puts his earphones on here. Kurt, that is Jim Schoenfeld, now that I hear his voice.
Oh.
On color.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Man, whole bunch of stories behind Jim Schoenfeld, too.
Yes.
Have another donut. Have another donut.
Plus, we did a Mystery Hockey Theater last summer that was centered around him.
Yep, the Turgeon goal.
Yep.
The official scoring on the lone goal.
There's the.
There it is. Yeah, put it up closer.
I can see it.
There you go. Yeah, perfect. Right there. Perfect. Yep. Blues dust off Hawks. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And then,
yep.
See that Shanahan waving a broom to the crowd?
Oh yeah. Yep. There it is. Beautiful stuff. AWOL Elements
beat the Braves
as
too.
Cards top Braves. Yeah.
And the NFL draft happened this same day, I believe. And Drew Bledsoe was picked first overall by the New England Patriots.
The last quarterback the Patriots had before Tom Brady. Crazy to think that happened in '93.
Yep.
Christian Rutu, another guy I hated.
Oh man, Christian Rutu. These names.
I know Bill. I think Bill talks about. Is it Dirk Graham that he hated most? Oh, he was up there.
Hated Graham. Hated Larmer.
Look at that pass.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Is that Joe Murphy?
I think so.
Former
Joe Murphy.
Future Blue a little bit.
Future homeless man.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
That's too soon.
That's not cool. He has issues. At least he doesn't have.
Excuse me.
Kevin Stevens issues. Kevin Stevens has some issues.
Woo! Blues about a minute left here in the period and have a good chance on Belfour. Almost go up 2-0.
I have a Nelson Emerson plaque and puck over there on my shelf.
I've got a signed picture hanging up over the other side where you can't see. You know what's funny is whenever people come down here to my my man cave where I have all my office stuff here, I've got Blue stuff all over. I'm told that apparently my best Blue stuff is in front of or I guess behind the camera, so you can't see all my best stuff. And I'm like, well, it's because I want to look at it while I'm working. So, I don't turn around and look at the shit behind me. So, yeah, I got like a signed Brett Hall 50-50 Club, Bobby Plager, Mario Lemieux. And so, like, Grant Fior signed. And yeah, it's like all good stuff that you just can't see every day, but I can. That's all that matters.
Marchment able to start ahead, escaping the checking of Felsner. Lays it.
I was going to say, that's Denny Felser, number 9.
Yep.
Oh, rubbed him out. Nice
Rick Zombo was a good rub out.
Zombo was a workhorse, man.
Yeah, he was. Hated him when he was a Red Wing, loved him as a Blue.
Yeah. Nice, good depth defenseman.
Yep. Come back at each other again. The battle on in the final half minute.
So much Zombo taking on 2
I mean,
Hawks.
it is a
He's got him both in
wrestling
headlocks.
match. It is a wrestling match in the corner.
And it becomes more than 3 men now. When this series started,
I mean, and let's face it, like, you need 2 linesmen out there for offsides calls and all that, but big reason that you had 2 linesmen was because they had to jump in and break this shit up.
Brandy says, I was going to call them vintage ads on the boards, but I didn't want to date myself. those are vintage, and they're. I mean, if I were, and I've said this before, if I were going to customize my Super Checks game that I have, I would do it with these exact ads on the boards, and I would do these jerseys on the players and those Hawks jerseys on the opponent.
And that's not a good sign for the Chicago Blackhawks.
I'd make it this era.
Also, I wanted to mention here too that there's a couple Sutters in this game. So Daryl Sutter, actually, this is his first season as a head coach in the NHL. So Daryl Sutter is coaching the Blackhawks. Brent Sutter is one of his players. The Blues have Rich Sutter at this point. So there are 3 Sutter brothers in this game. Only one we are rooting for here with the Blues.
Ron and Rich on the Blues.
Ron was on this team too?
Brent Sutter to take it for Chicago.
Yep.
One false start.
And that's another thing the Blues are doing very well. The second guy has won a lot of faceoffs. Loose pucks.
Sure,
because they have their full names on the back of the jersey.
Maybe Ron was just injured for this series because his name doesn't pop up with the series.
Well, unless he was moved during the season, because he's on the. Where is it? He's on the season roster. He had. He played in. Ron played in 59 games with the Blues and 27 points. Was he moved before this playoffs?
Moved or injured? Because he didn't appear at all in this series.
He was on the Blues. He was on the Blues.
Good restraint shown
Must have been injured.
Well, 59. He played in 59 games, so maybe he was injured.
I'm gonna look up now, see if he was moved. But
yeah, because he was on the Blues the next season too, 93-94.
Okay, so I guess he was just injured then. Must have had a season-ending injury.
Because he was the more talented between Rich and Ron.
Yeah.
Rich was more. I mean, I think I'm kind of guessing here, but I think Ron was a little bit more of a scorer. Not great. No. Yeah, he was a little bit better offensively.
So yeah, Ron was moved the next year to Quebec. But it looks like as far as playoffs go for this series, he did not play at all in this playoff. So I don't know if he was injured, if he was a healthy scratch the whole series. I don't know.
I wouldn't guess he was a healthy scratch. He was.
Is out of the referee's hand.
Ron Sutter, if you're listening, please let us know what happened to you.
The guy pressing the button is from Detroit today.
Remember, okay, so they pulled Belfour here with less than a second to go, first period of faceoffs in the Blue zone. Obviously, the Blues can't. There's no time to score here down there. But remember, we talked about this before when it was, I think it was Quenneville, who pulled, might have been Kirk, with 4 seconds to go, face off down the other end before the end of the period. It was over. And Blues lost the face-off. They shot it down, missed the goal, and it would have counted. Remember that?
I do remember that. We'll talk about that more, though, because we got a break coming here. So let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll hear from our friends over at Center Ice Brewery.
Do you like hockey? Of course you do. Do you like beer? Of course you do. Are you 21? Let's hope so. If you answered yes to all of those questions, run on down to your local beer distributor and pick up a 2-4 of Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, or any other delicious hockey-themed beer from Center Ice Brewery. That's right, Center Ice Brewery beer is available at various beer stores around town, so check around for the one closest to you. That's Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues!
All right, so real quick, we will get back into the game here. 17:02 remaining in the second period. Brett Hedican has just taken a penalty for the Blues, so we have a Blackhawks power play here that's getting started. But before we get to that, I do want to mention Kurt, who you just talked about. Did you say Quenneville or Keenan?
It was Quenneville.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a playoff game against, I think, the Stars.
I was going to say the Stars. I wasn't sure it was a playoff game, though, but I think it was against the Stars.
I think it was a playoff game. I want to say it was Game 3. They went to overtime in 0-1, I want to say. And he pulled a goalie because there was, 2 seconds left on the clock?
No, I think it was almost 4, like 3.8, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And it was close. It was very close.
Yeah, it would have counted.
I remember being super nervous about that.
They fired it down the ice and it smacked the end boards when the clock hit 0, so it would have counted. Yep.
So we got a goal here by the Blackhawks. Finally, the Chicago Blackhawks have beaten Curtis Joseph, tied the game at 1. And this is on the power play.
Yeah,
and listen to that
Joseph
applause
gets
for
the
Curtis
standing,
Joseph.
Standing ovation for the shutout streak. I have one of those yellow seats.
I do too, right behind me.
A nice padded seat. That's the one to have. Padded.
Yeah, but you're super jealous because I own number 12.
Yeah, I own 10. I do have a 12 blue seat back right above my finger there. You see the seat? It's kind of behind some pictures. It's a seat. It's a seat back.
Maybe our
number
listeners
12.
can. I can't see it. But so in this goal, Brent Sutter scores. We mentioned the Sutter brothers. He scores with assists from Chris Chelios and Steve Larmer.
The maker says, remember when McDonald's had the bread whole meal? It was a triple cheeseburger and fries, and he says he still has the cup and comics that came with it. I have the comics hanging up on the wall over there. No cup though. And then Meeker says if he thinks he went to Philly, he came from Philly to St. Louis, then went to Quebec. Then the Islanders, I think, and then Boston and San Jose. But he was in Philly before St. Louis.
That sounds right.
Spent a ton of time
So,
in Philly.
1-1 game here between the Blues and the Blackhawks. New sub.
Look at the hooking right there. Yeah, they called it. They got it that time.
Yeah, they did call it. There was a lot of penalties in this game.
Well, Dave Lowry did a pretty good job of catching up to Christian Rutu, lifted his stick.
How common was that, where you're the trailing skater, you hook them, and you're skiing behind them? You're holding on to them, and you pull yourself up using your stick as leverage to the skater in front of you.
Yep.
And that was never called unless the player went down.
Yeah.
Hell, I did that a lot.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, I did that a lot in high school. I remember literally, like, I would be knocked down or whatever. I'd fall at center, and they'd start skating in the other way. And to pick myself up, I would hook one of their legs. And then I would just stay behind them as long as I could and slow them down, and it wouldn't get called.
Going on a power play, 4-on-3 with 53 seconds
Rick
left.
Kane. I don't believe I've seen Rick Kane in the chat before. Got a Dallas Stars avatar there.
That is a new live listener.
A new listener. As the Blues are also one of his favorite teams. Well, welcome to the stream, Rick.
Rick, good. So we can be hated together because I like the Dallas Stars. And Blues fans hate me for it. So there you go.
You also like Jamie Benn, too.
I'm a big Jamie Benn fan. I have a Jamie Benn jersey. Yeah. And I have every right to be hated for it. And I will agree with Blues fans 100%. And I will say, and I've said this a million times, but I'll tell Rick this. I did live in Dallas for a short period. I lived there right as they were starting to get good, right as they got Tyler Seguin. So I think that's part of the reason. But yeah, I do not hate the Dallas Stars. I used to hate the Dallas Stars when they signed Brett Hall. Fuck them. Darian Hatcher can suck it, but I like him now.
Craig Ludwig with his mile-wide shin guards. Screw that guy.
I played against Craig Ludwig.
He's a cheater. That's cheating. That's cheating.
I played against him in Dallas when I lived down there. He was down there for some alumni event and showed up to like an 8 a.m. pickup skate in Plano. And I was like, why is this old dude so much better than all of us? And somebody was like, dude, that's Craig Ludwig. I was like, what?
He had a very unique look. Bug eyes.
Yeah, he did, for sure.
Kind of Ed Belfour hair. A little bit, I think.
But he got there late and had to just dump it back into the corner. Larmer to Sutter to Chelios for a drive and a save made by Joseph.
Woo! Through traffic.
The offensive, no kidding. The offensive force that was Chelios this season. Here we go.
Brett Hedican.
Hedican breakaway.
Hedican probably the only breakaway of his career.
Belfour got a piece, and it trickles wide.
Yeah, that was a great save there by Belfour. Again, Belfour had a great series. Just Blues scores just kept beating him.
I had a good look at that breakaway because that was on my end of the ice where I was seated. Oh, that's a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, literally taking a guy down right before the pass gets on his stick. That is
it would have been a scoring chance.
Yeah,
that's a penalty in this era. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Blocked aside by Barron. Thrown back off by Zombo. 20 seconds still for St. Louis to kill.
Matt Harris says Dallas Stars have arguably one of the best team jersey histories.
I will disagree with that. I love their current jerseys.
I haven't hated.
Their victory greens, I love those, but I don't like a lot of their past jerseys.
I haven't hated a lot of their stuff. The Luderus ones were awful.
Yes.
But I mean, you gotta pull in the North Stars jerseys as part of their heritage too, which is awesome.
I like the North Stars jerseys, and the original ones when they first moved weren't awful. But I'm just overall like a lot of their third jerseys have been awful. I hated the Cowboys looking ones with the numbers on the front. I don't know. I never liked any of those.
That guy with the blue Blues jersey and the glasses. Did you see him?
No,
you'll probably see him again.
I was looking at you, Kurt.
There's a guy in the stands, season ticket holder. He wore a blue Blues jersey, and he had a mustache and he had glasses, and he was always on camera. Every game they'd show him. My brother and I would always wait for him to show him. We'd cheer. He was on screen more than a lot of Blues players in history.
Oh, man. Rick Zombo with a crushing hit.
It's just a two-fisted punch to the face on Rowan as he crossed the blue line. Oh, my God.
All right, there's Kurt right there.
Oh, yeah, that's I'm a little older. I was about 16, 17 in this game.
Youngster may be seeing his first ever game.
I was driving.
I remember the first I ever saw.
There's a couple of listeners. No. The Meeker was 25 when this game happened, and Edward Schmidt was 27.
Various developmental leagues as well as the NHL.
Welcome, fellas.
Got a couple older guys at this point, which were good. We're not the only ones.
Right on him, and Shanahan dumps it back out. Steve Smith laid it in.
Yeah, I mean this back and forth between these two teams too. There's been a lot of get into the zone, get a shot, goes the other way, come back the other way. It's a lot of back and forth here, which is fun hockey to watch. Physical, yeah, hits at every turn.
Yeah, and the referees are letting. I mean, they called some penalties, but it let an awful lot go too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean the old adage in the NHL, which is still true, but in a different sense. You have to earn every inch. That is definitely the case in this game.
And this was still the era where, in the playoffs, they didn't call as much. The stuff got tighter. But again, it is back and forth, and it's exciting hockey.
So we're going to move ahead here with about 4:30 remaining in the second period. So again, 1-1 game. There's Jeff Brown. Who is not aged, by the way. Watch the video of him on this show. He looks the exact same he does right here.
Yeah,
put a helmet on him. He looks like he can still play in the NHL.
Should plug that show because that was a really good. That was one of the better interviews I enjoyed that you've done. I just like the stories. You know, the story between him with Millen and bringing Jeff Brown on board.
Yeah, that again, if you haven't heard him, I think it was done in 2020. I had an interview series where I interviewed both Jeff Brown and Greg Millen, who were traded for each other, and we got both sides of that story, and it was just so much fun to hear.
It's a funny story.
And that is a set breakout play, a great play.
Millen wanted Brown.
Yep, you got him, but then he got moved.
Traded him to get him.
To the blue line. Here's Janney this time, giving it back to Emerson across to Brown. Shoots one, blocked by Belfour.
I actually didn't know that story before I interviewed them. That was quite the.
I didn't either.
That was quite the thing to learn. It was pretty
I really
funny.
like that play. Shanahan in center, a little tip, keeping it on
the things you learn
after
the fact, years later.
Nice play by Shanahan and Brown. So not everything.
Well, this was an era too where, I mean, There's no social media. You know, you get your news from the newspaper and the radio, right? There's just not the information. There's just not available like it is today.
That last shot there by Shanahan goes to show how strong of a player he was in front. Why he was one of the best power forwards in the NHL. He got a good rebound backhand shot off with one hand on his stick. I mean, I have one hand on my stick, and I try to take a backhand shot. It's going about 8 miles per hour, and it's not leaving the ice. He gets it up top, makes Belfour cover it. I mean, just power behind it. Makes no sense to me. There's a reason we thought these guys were gods when we were kids.
He wasn't just good; he was clever. Such a clever player. You know, tried stuff on the ice that other people wouldn't even think about doing. He was one of the first guys that I really saw frequently try and bank the puck off the back of the goalie's leg into the net from behind the goal.
A lot of activity along the boards and in the corners.
There's a young Chris Chelios and Dirk Graham with that duster mustache that we all wanted to punch.
The tension that we've seen on the faces here. Is this
Fucking
fun
Dirk
for any
Graham.
of these guys? I mean, can you call this fun?
He's the captain here on this still, yes, on this team.
Yes, I believe so.
In the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It is Brown driving it back in. His team still with 1:20 to work on the power play. But it's cleared back down, and so Nelson Emerson will go to get it.
You do a show on all the players that played for both the Hawks and the Blues.
Brown, Hull and Janney and
I would
Shanahan.
love to do a series over the summer
Chicago,
where I interview
with Rd1 and
Blues
Graham.
rivals over the years
Mm.
and get like Owen Nolan and
Oh, man.
I don't know, Dirk Graham. I would love to do something like
That'd
that.
be great. That's a great idea.
Might have to do that.
Rd1 moves in, the pass broken up by Brown.
Great play
Yeah,
there.
Jeff
by
Brown, good D on the 2-on-1, taking the pass away.
And then back on for
Never got
Rd2.
through.
But now they decide to kill. A good opportunity. but
You know who'd
also
be good
strong
for
play
a
on
Blues
defense by
rival
Jeff Brown.
interview? Bill Laurie.
Back they go
Oh,
on four.
man.
The Blues take it on the tap from Joseph to Emerson.
Have Cam and Strick had him on? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I bet he probably would never come on a hockey podcast.
Why would he?
Yeah.
He wheels it back toward the point, but instead it's Larmer.
Get someone from Purina on.
Unless he feels like he has stuff he has to say, because he was really bad-mouthed on the way out.
He was. And we've talked about it. When he was an owner who cared, he was one of the best owners the Blues have ever had.
Sure. He wanted to win.
Yeah. And I love that. But yeah,
That's all you
at
can
the
ask
end,
for.
It all changed.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for. You have an owner that really wants to win and does what it takes to try and win.
You see he's going to drag his stick, his leg right there.
That D.
Rd2 makes an aerial pass.
And Emerson's hustling back, too. Maybe
Heard I'm about to drink an IPA here. A Lagunitas.
So just by getting that stick
Lagunitas.
down,
All right.
you prevent
Is it-
This isn't
play by
bad.
the Chicago Blackhawks.
Is it a
Down defense by Jeff Brown
just
of
single
St.
regular
Louis
IPA,
Blues.
or was it like a
It's-
hazy or
it's a-
what?
It's
Well,
a
here's
daytime
Ronan up by
IPA.
three
That's
Blues
all it
and
says.
escaping into
Never
the
had
zone.
it.
He's in. Score!
That was a good goal.
Jocelyn Lemieux with a sick goal and paid the price.
Yeah.
A cluster of Blues had dealt with Roning.
So now the Blues fans are annoyed
We haven't seen much
because
of
you don't want
Jocelyn Lemieux today.
to lose
Straight
this
up the
game.
draw.
You want to sweep them.
Ronan's going to stay with this puck. There you see 1, 2, 3.
And you
St.
score
Louis
Yeah, you have
first,
Blues.
and
three
Chicago gets the
guys
next goal.
covering
No one's got Lemieux
Jeremy
one-on-one.
Roenick.
And he puts it
And
to
then
almost-
Jocelyn Lemieux breaks in from the wing.
A great
I mean,
goal by
Hedekin did a
Jocelyn
really good
Lemieux.
job to get
This
stick
shows
on
you
puck,
the
but
danger
he
of a
just
player like
it looked like
Jeremy Roenick. He
Lemieux
really
just
attracts the St. Louis
didn't come off his
crowd.
stick. He held on
Very
to it.
alertly
Yeah,
got the puck to Jocelyn.
It was a power
And the
move
Hawks
by
have it
Lemieux to
2-1.
stay
Sure.
in and be able to get that
First
past
lead
Joseph
for the
too. I mean,
Blackhawks in a week.
that's a goal. When you get to the bench, you are getting a tap on the helmet from everybody, including the trainer, because you worked your ass off for that goal.
Blackhawks with some success.
Future
Despite the
Red Wings
and
future antagonist of the Red Wings.
Centering
Yeah.
pass,
Jocelyn
clicked away. Miller up with it.
So Blues
Starts
down
the march
2-1
back
at this
out with
point
Rich
in
Sutter.
the second period.
Miller bumped into Rich Sutter, and it's played back ahead for Roenick again. Here's Roenick moving in. Got it to Goulet.
So the Hawks are feeling it now.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say is you get to this point, they're up 2-1. Yes, they're down 3-0 in the series, but they've got life. They're not done. And And this is where you really want the Blues to pick it up and at least tie this game going into the third period.
If you, okay, so to give you an idea of how I guess some of the Blackhawks felt, being down 3-0, Roenick scores later in this game, an important goal, and he is fired up in the corner, and he's like, so you look at it and you're like, wow, they just want to win this game, and they feel like they win this game, they can win the series.
Yeah, and at this point, it happened only once in the NHL history that a team had come back from a 3-0 deficit. So, but as someone who's played, Kurt, even if you're down and out, and you're facing all the adversity in the world, you get one big game, one big goal even, and you forget about all of that. And it's all, we're going to do this. Let's come back and do this. Like, again, men's league, I played last night. We had playoffs for my summer league. We're the reigning champs for 2 seasons. We were down 2-0, and I kept telling the guys on the bench, like, guys, this is nothing. We've come back from worse. We ended up tying the game 2-2. We lost 3-2 late in the third period. But when you get that big goal, that's all you need sometimes. And the Blackhawks are feeling it. And as the other team, the Blues, they're sitting there going, we can't let them have that feeling. We've got to take that back.
Well,
and we're jumping ahead here to the start of the third period.
And the Blackhawks were the best team in the Campbell Conference, so they're a confident team. I'm sure they feel like they could beat the Blues 4 straight. I'm sure they have that in their minds. They know they can.
Tom Mee, rest his soul, calling games. He was great. I love Tom Mee.
Mr. I will never play for the Red Wings. And then did.
Chris Chelios.
And he was one of the men that Daryl Sutter said.
So yeah, as Tom Mee just informed, Chris Chelios and Shanahan went at it at the end of the third. Chelios took a roughing penalty right at the 20-minute mark, so the Blues are opening the period on the power play. That will play into this. To give you a little hint. That's a big penalty by Chelios.
Mike Keenan as his assistant, and now in charge of it all.
Arena. Yeah, back when they played this song games. Back before everyone knew that he was a child molester or a child porn fan.
Child pornographer, I believe, is the proper term. But who fucking cares? Is a piece of shit. That's the proper term.
Which pisses me off because I enjoyed that song as a sports anthem, in arenas. It was fun. Dumbass ruined it for everybody.
Shanahan in. His team trailing by 1 here in the third period.
The Blues setting up here on the power play. One of the most dangerous power plays in the NHL with the personnel they have on this first unit, especially Brett Hall, obviously. And in the way that Craig Janney can dish the puck. That's a power play you do not want to face starting a period with fresh ice.
24 goal scorer Kevin Miller on the chance there. As he was knocked down in front.
This team,
I like Kevin Miller. I was a Kevin Miller fan.
Matt D'Agostini.
Never got on a stick. Never got on a stick. He was right there, though.
Good defense there by the Blackhawks, but the Blues are buzzing. Yeah. We're seeing some good offense here by the Blues. And again, Janney looking for that pass in front, right off the tape, gets on his stick, instantly moves it, looking for the pass. Good move, but Blues couldn't capitalize.
Janney was the kind of player that would do a drop pass on a breakaway, and he did do that.
Yes.
Wall and breakaway.
So is this?
And didn't get shot away.
Was this on the end of the ice you were on, or was this opposite side?
This was the. This is third. This is the other end. I'm on that end right here. Because I was on the end of the ice when the Blues scored in overtime.
Jeremy Roenick, one of the faster skaters in the league.
But yeah, one of the Roenick just showing his speed here, and then not only showing his speed and just trying to get a shot on goal, trying to create a play. Clearly, to me, a pass-off pad type play that he's trying to do there, knowing Larmer is going to be crashing. And again, Joseph, even though he's given up 2 goals in this game, his shutout streak's gone, still playing phenomenal hockey.
Generally, when he's going with the speed,
there's a YouTube video that talks about the Blues and Blackhawks rivalry. And it may have been done by ESPN, but it was really well done. Talks about the history of the rivalry between the two teams. But it's not that new. I don't think it has the recent playoff games between the Blues and Hawks. But Roenick is interviewed, and he talks about how much he hated St. Louis. It wasn't just I think he said his first game against St. Louis, he had his front teeth knocked out by Kimball.
For Chicago to kill, and for the Blues
That's
to operate on, but they give it up to Graham. Good hard shot.
Blackhawks getting some puck control here during the penalty kill, which, again, at this point, you're expecting this Blues power play to step in and do something great. And it's about to happen, I think. Maybe. Maybe.
And it's Janney again with 22 left power play. Hull with a shot that went wide. Keith Brown on the Chicago defense, but it's kept alive by Kentall to Shanahan. Back over for Janney, who wanted it. Janney fed one in front.
Slap pass. Beautiful slap pass from Janney.
So awesome. Belfour's pissed. There he is, right there. Blue jersey with the glasses. That's him. Little hoodie under the jersey. I hope he's still alive. I have him on the show. It would freak my brother out. We used to laugh about him being on every broadcast.
Keith Brown has the puck right there, and he fails to get it out.
Yeah, Blackhawks can't clear. Blues capitalize on the power play.
This was such a beautiful goal.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That play is made in today's NHL, and that's a goal.
How do you, as a goalie, how do you defend that? Oh, and he can't get his leg out.
Getting draped over. I mean, just everything they can to stop guys like him from getting to the net, and the Blues still score.
Belfour was pissed. He thought he was interfered with, but he goes to kick out his right skate, his right pad, and he hits his own defenseman.
So that is Brett Hall's 5th goal of the series. Craig Janney and Brendan Shanahan both get the assists.
Keith Brown, a minor
second of the game.
After the goal was scored.
So yeah, a lot of discussion here with Dirk Graham bitching about the possible interference, but again,
if you look at it,
new to the game, there are no reviews at this point, nor was it interference at all. It was Blackhawks players basically pushing players into Belfour.
Right, and watch here. When Belfour kicks out his right pad, hits his own defenseman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no interference at all.
And that was actually Nelson Emerson. I'm mistaken. Emerson was in front, getting completely clowned into the crease. And again, I think it was that Brown, Keith Brown, that was that had kicked into Belfour as he was trying to make the save.
The penalty.
Yeah, it's interesting to
Keith Brown.
Oh, and they're giving him a penalty here too. That's right. Keith Brown gets a holding penalty, which he deserved.
And
rather than after the play, it was
I don't. Let me see.
Boy,
I don't have the box score in front of me. Who scored here?
Keith Brown. Who scored was Brett Hall.
You didn't put a quarter in.
No. I mean, don't they score again here?
On this power play?
Yes,
they do.
Yeah, and Shanahan gives a great celebration here, like, we're going to win it, we're going to win it. So wait for it.
Look at Emerson.
Oh, that was so fantastic.
That is beautiful stuff. He just ran out of room because Belfour came out to challenge.
That was one of those plays that I remember to this day, remember clear as day when I was there. Almost jumped out of my seat.
And again, just the ovation from the Blues crowd, just to hey, we're going to do this tonight. And just see, I mean, this is a coast-to-coast play by Nelson Emerson.
Splits the D right
Look at that,
here.
splits the
oh, my
D.
God.
Chelios
Skates to his
just
blade.
standing. I mean, he makes one of the best defensemen in the NHL look like a damn mannequin here.
What a great move
And
by Smith.
Emerson's lucky he didn't die here. Like, into the
Yeah.
board. Oh, got turned around nicely, but man, he easily went face first in the boards. I just love Shanahan's reaction on his goal.
It is
We're
Emerson.
about to see it.
Then Janney. Shanahan close by. Janney took a swat from Steve Smith. That's enough to force
And, you know, because you enter the third period trailing by a goal.
But it's spiked back to the point.
And then you score
And
two
get
quick
two
ones.
power plays right off the bat like this.
Back along
Yeah, and
by
you get two
Smith,
quick goals.
held by Brown. Drives one right into Belfour and play is stopped.
Yeah, Blues are just absolutely buzzing at this point.
At the right point. Brett Sutter came out to check him.
I'm getting goosebumps. It's crazy watching this game and still feeling this way.
Emerson gave Sutter a little shot. Nothing further will develop there, but again, the Hawks trying to make the Blues pay a physical price.
Matt Harris, who is a band director, he says, I just cut the Hey song from our marching band stand tunes. Band got pissed and I had to explain why. I feel icky playing it. Yeah, I don't blame you at all, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because it's a fun song to play. But yeah, once you know about Gary Glitter, with a name like Gary Glitter, you should have known anyway, right? Just seems like that kind of guy. And if you've seen him, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yep. So the Let's Go Blues chants going, plus people just going nuts here during a Blues timeout. And this is what I love when announcers can sense it's time to shut up and just let the crowd speak for itself. That's what we're hearing here, and I love it. This is some of the best stuff from. Yeah, it's the good ones that know. And clearly, we're listening to Doc Emmerich here, who knows how to call a game.
Like the Dodgers announcer. He just passed away. What was his name? But yeah, he was really good at that. Let the crowd talk.
It makes it hard on their penalty killers, but you also have to feel for Ed Belfour.
Where's that starter jacket?
Vin Scully.
Vin Scully, yeah.
I don't know why that took me so long to come up with.
If I couldn't listen to a game being called by Jack Buck, I wanted to listen to Vin Scully. He was so good.
He was great.
17:31 left in the third.
Jeff
Blues still in the power
goes
play.
back to take it. He and Emerson will work the points once the Blues get it set up. Hall and Shanahan and Janney as usual.
And just seeing,
on this power play.
again, a player of Jeff Brown's caliber, somebody that we really don't talk about as one of just a great skating defenseman. He really led the way for guys like Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns, guys like that are just good puck movers. And I don't want to say led, obviously Bobby Orr started that.
There it is.
Yeah, there's the goal. Yeah, Shanahan's face just tells it all.
It's like they won the game in overtime. He was just hands in the air, his mouth is wide open,
huge moment,
screaming.
And I remember at this point thinking, "This is it. This series is over."
Yep. Like Adrian and Rocky IV. You're gonna do it.
Yep. 3-2 here for the Blues. Brendan Shanahan with a big PP goal.
And again, this is not unlike the goal where Brett Hull scored. It's a fake shot, pass over, score.
Well, and let's not overlook the fact that Brett Hull, the best shooter in the NHL at this point, he breaks into the zone. You think he's taking it to the net. No, he's going to dish it off to Janney, and then he's going to dish it off to Shanahan.
I mean, Shanahan.
Ridiculous the offense the Blues had at this point.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, the Hawks, 107 points, best team in the Campbell, and the Blues were a much better offensive team, or at least up front anyway. I didn't see the actual goals for totals for this. Let me look up here.
One on, tapped by Rich Sutter. Miller unable to get by. Grimson flops it back, and Murray Barron controlling. Barron for the Blues, giving a rough
Barron takes a little punch to the back of the head. No call.
Belfour along Lemieux, given a jostle there by Miller, and a freight train hit by Basson as it's turned to the front.
Okay, Blackhawks scored. Yeah, the Blues outscored the Blackhawks that season. I mean, just by 3.
St. Louis
but still, Chicago's goal distribution was top heavy.
Blues' problem was defense. They did not have. They had good defensemen, but kind of like how we talk about now, they didn't really have that top guy that could shut you down, nor did they have a top pairing like that. Their game was trying to control the puck, and they did it well, but clearly not good enough to get through the Western Conference.
Yeah, the Hawks had Roenick and Larmer, and that was, Brent Sutter scored 20, Rick Graham scored 20, but that was about it. They had some guys in the teens. The Blues had, sort by goals here, 54, 51, 25, 24, 24, 22. So, I think the Hawks had more guys in the teens, but the Blues had 1, 2, 3. Their top 4 goal scorers were top 4 or 5. Fantastic.
Sorry, I said Western Conference. I meant Campbell Conference.
The follow-up comes from Janney, who's tripped up on the play.
Same thing.
Dirk Graham starts it ahead with a pass.
I understand why they did that and why they went that, because I guess if you're trying to attract new fans, Campbell, and Wales, and Norris doesn't mean anything.
I
you gotta go regional.
I love talking with people who know the old conference names, but it makes way more sense. Do it by region.
Right. It does. Every other sport does that. No, too.
The Blues with 5 shots in this period and 20 in the game. The Blackhawks with 2 in this period and 22 on Curtis.
Although if they went away from regions, they could almost have, any team they wanted in divisions. They wouldn't have to go necessarily by regions.
Back when the discussion of realignment was going on, that was one of the things I said, was you could literally you could set up divisions to where it's not at all set up like that. 4:24 remaining in the third period. We're going to jump to now, still 3-2 Blues. And we just saw a great sign. The fat lady is tuning up as the Blues lead this game 3-2.
Here at this wonderful old arena in St. Louis. A new one on the drawing board and actively being worked on. January of 95 for it. But the old house is seeing a good one for the home team.
What Emmer just said about the old arena, and how about the new Savas McKeel Center was being drawn up and due to open in 95, which didn't happen because of the delay.
Turned along by Jeff Brown.
Or the
Roy Murray stepped in 2. Up with it is Lowry. It's a 3-on-2 for St. Louis. Lowry moving in, met nicely by Chelios.
Because the first game was supposed to be against
Chelios has trouble with Wilson, and so Troy Murray comes in for
LA. The first game was against LA. Either the first game was supposed to be against LA or it was against LA. Was it Chicago? Chicago and the action? First game was against LA, something like that, because of the lockout. Had to reschedule. Shortened season.
Vancouver was the first game, wasn't it?
No, it was 90. What? We need to see. I shall look it up.
No, Vancouver was the first game Gretzky played as a Blue. I don't know.
Right. Yes, that's true.
Too much shit to remember.
So 94-95 was the 48-game lockout season. So
John Saunders making an appearance.
Yeah. For the scheduling results, first game was January 20th against San Jose. I think the first game was supposed to be against LA because those tickets they gave, those mock tickets they gave away before the season started for the opening of Kiel Center, I think it was against LA. And that game never happened.
I don't know if it hit Joseph or hit the crossbar, but it stays out of the net.
I think Joseph makes that save and it goes out.
What do you think, partner?
I think that
was
did
crossbar.
catch the iron. It looked like he waved at it.
He said iron. I don't know. I think it caught Joseph.
I want to say, I couldn't see it there because of the quality, but I want to say I remember it going off the crossbar. I could be thinking of McInnes's blast.
I'm going to disagree just because I want to disagree.
I could be thinking of McInnes's blast that beat Walmsley, but hit the iron in overtime. I think it was McInnes. Or was it Mullen?
Laid back out again by Wilson.
And the Blues scored not long after.
On to Goulet.
Wickenheiser.
And a
Again, going to turn the volume up here a bit. Listen to this crowd. Oh, I say that, they score. Let's bring that down.
They are pumped.
This is Roenick's big goal here.
His only goal of the series.
Yep.
Mr. 107 points, and he scored, what was it, 50? He was a 50-goal scorer, too. Yeah, he scored 50 goals. One in the series.
In this series, Jeremy Roenick, 4 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists, 0 plus minus, no power play points. So, rough series for Jeremy Roenick. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Oh, yeah.
Overtime as the Hawk bench says yes.
You know, the thing about Roenick, though, is that like I mentioned that video on YouTube. If you haven't watched it, go check it out, the Blues and Blackhawks rivalry video. He says on there how much he hated St. Louis, but the way he says it and the way he talks about the Blues, it was strictly in a hockey rivalry sense. It wasn't personal, and it made you like him because he was talking fondly of it. You know, he hated the Blues in a fond manner. It was just kind of interesting to hear him describe it.
I think we've heard the same from, I want to say it was Kelly Chase from, I don't know if it was the same one or not, but I remember hearing Kelly Chase discuss in a documentary type series about how he hated playing in Chicago. And it was like, but it was respectful. It wasn't like, oh, fuck those fans. It was like, I hated playing there because they gave me shit and I deserved it. You know, and it's a fond memory more than it is a hate type thing.
You've heard the Hull and Oates story, right? Where I think it was the St. Patrick's Day Massacre game where the Blues were in Chicago, Hull and Oates were lining up for the national anthem, and they're listening to the anthem, and they see up in the rafters 2 Blues players, it's Hull and Oates, being hung with nooses. Right?
Oh, that's right.
And Oates goes to Hull, goes, look at that. And Hull goes, I know, isn't it great? Hull loved it. Hull absolutely loved it.
I feel like that's something I would have thrived as too. In this theory, in this era of hockey, I would have loved to be the fucking hated player. I would have loved it. Hook that to my veins. I would have been waving to the crowd when I would score a big goal. I know I mentioned about Nazem Kadri doing that recently, but that was also, there was a little bit more motivation behind it.
There's more of a story there.
More than we'd like to admit as hockey fans, there was a little bit more behind that, and that's why I wouldn't have done it. But in terms of just hating a player because of the type of player he is, oh, yes, I want to be that guy. I would love to be that guy.
I would love to be the kind of guy that's hated because I was just good and burned your team. Being hated because you're dirty, that's a whole different animal. I mean, it's still cool. Don't get me wrong. You're a tough guy, you know, you're hated because of that. But I think just the kind of player I was a point getter, and also I'm more of a Shanahan kind of player. I mean, I modeled my game after Oates, but I kind of played a little like Shanahan in a way, so I can merge between the two.
At the right point, so Janney's going to try to win this thing back to Brown at the point. And of course, Sutter would like to scramble.
Losing your audio, Jeff.
And you'll see Sutter cheat a lot in this face because there isn't a real danger.
How about now?
Gets tossed.
Yep, you're good.
Can go in and win
okay.
the draws raw.
When I played, it was a little bit more. When I played competitive, I did model myself after a Chris Pronger time, and I took a lot. I did a lot of things behind the whistle.
Took a lot of penalties.
Referees weren't looking. Yeah. I play now, and I'm way. I mean, I am not that asshole men's league player. At least I don't think. I play now for exercise, you know. But like back in the day, yeah, it was all. Yeah, Chris Pronger does this. I'm going to do the same thing, and it worked. I got a lot of retaliatory penalties because of it.
I was kind of a dick when I played. I mean, it was not unusual for me to lead my team in points, but I played with an edge, and I played a little like a dick.
to get the puck. He doesn't get it. See him
back when I was a kid.
There.
You know, that when I got older, that settled down. And I was like, hey, I have a job. I can't be doing this kind of stuff anymore. And I just enjoyed it, you know, for what it was.
Yeah, if anyone's listening who played against me in my first couple years of men's league, let me just apologize now, because I was still trying to play that same way. And it took me until I was about 21 that I was realizing, like, wait a minute, this isn't competitive anymore. I don't need to play that way.
Well, I think, too, is that when you're a kid, you're younger, you know, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs for you when you're a kid, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what you're picturing and pretending it is. Then when you get older, you're like, okay, this is not the big deal. I mean, it's fun. Love playing. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I didn't take it as serious as I did when I was younger. I grew up, if you will.
45 seconds left in this game. We got a tie game at 3-3, and looking like we're gonna get some OT here.
Brett Hall throwing a check.
Yeah.
Making very sure with Belfour in the last half minute. Chris Chelios lobs it back.
This
is one of those.
Let
me ask you, Kurt. This is one of those moments as a player where you're thinking, because you know the goalies are thinking, don't give up a shit goal. You give up a shit goal right now, you are the GOAT in a bad way. As a player, this is something even now that I'll do. I'll just start throwing the puck at the net, because I'm like, the goalie's already kind of second-guessing himself because he doesn't want to be that guy. So you're going to try and make him be that guy. Is that the way you think when you're playing too, Kurt?
No. I think, I mean, at this point in the game, tie game late, or a sudden death overtime, it just gets more intense for me. I'm not saying in overtime I might be more of that mentality, but in regulation, I don't think I'm just a throw the puck and that kind of guy. I'm still trying to make the right play, I guess, or the I don't know. I don't change it too much. It might just be more intense, I guess, where you're diving more, or if you're in your own zone, like I might slide to block a shot, when I wouldn't in the first period.
Shanahan versus Sutter. Who will win this duel?
I'm a crazy asshole. Even in men's league, I'll still slide to block the shot. My goalie tells me all the time. He's like, knock that shit off. He's like, I don't need you diving in front of me to make saves. Like, that's my job. And I'm like, yeah, but, if you're not in position, he's like, I don't care, man, it's men's league. And I'm like, I know. But, man, when it happens, I'm not even thinking. I just react.
Drew Goulet back to the corner once more. Down to the last two, centering pass. Miller shakes it back off.
Overtime.
This is back when the horn at the end of periods was the goal horn.
Yeah.
And bone-crunching body
They didn't change that, I think, until they went to Kiel, right?
Because if the overtime is anything like these first three periods, that's precisely what we're going to get.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't have the fog horn be the end of the period horn until they went to Kiel.
Because they had a new sound system, and it was a lot easier to control it.
Show they've been giving us for the last 2.5 hours.
I miss the arena.
Oh, man, just the smell. You walk in, it's like you smell stale beer and dampness and like old popcorn and hot dog, and it just that with the old building, it just, smelled so good.
So now we are starting overtime as we move ahead in coverage here. So yeah, we'll get the whole overtime here until we see the winner. Oh, I don't know if you know who the winner is, but it's a pretty big deal. Pretty big moment in Blues history.
Like I've always said, until the Blues Cup run, this was, for me, this was the biggest, best game in Blues history for me personally.
You know what? The next game we do, we're going to do my favorite game before the Cup run. We'll do 2001 Game 4 sweep of the Stars. That was because I was at that game, and that was ridiculous. I remember I can't even tell you how many times I watched that game as a kid, because it was one of those things, as a kid, where you're like, what am I going to watch tonight? It's Friday night, and I'm not going out, I'm not doing anything. Oh, I'm going to sit here and I'll rewatch this. And it was always the 2001 sweeping of the Stars. I watched that game constantly.
When Brett Hall scored against the Blackhawks last year.
That was the first game where I ever hugged a random stranger. I remember just hugging the guy next to me and like looking at him because I was, let's see, 2001. I would have been 16, and I remember thinking I should not be hugging this random guy. And he kind of looked at me, and I think he thought the same thing. And then we just hugged each other again. Like, who fucking cares? We just won the series.
Complete change by the Blues. Janney and Hall come out. Lowry remains.
It's interesting because back in this time, the Blues don't have a cup yet, and so there's this hope, right, that if you can win this series, it's one step closer to winning the first Stanley Cup in team history, and you get that. It's just it's a different feeling. I mean, you don't have that feeling now because you've got that one cup under your belt. It's not. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different. It's more of a scary, intense, crazy, exciting kind of a thing. Oh my gosh, we're one step closer to our first Stanley Cup.
I don't remember which game it was, but when they did the tournament style in 2020 in Edmonton, and the Blues, they went to overtime one game against Vancouver. Might have been game 2, I can't remember.
Not much open ice out there.
And I remember even saying as overtime started, looking at my wife, and I was sitting there, and I was like, pretty tense, but I remember thinking, and I said this out loud, I'm like, this is crazy. I don't feel as tense. I think it's because they won the cup last year. Like, I actually feel like I can sit and kind of enjoy overtime a little bit. Like, yeah, I was still on edge. I was still standing the whole overtime. But at least I was able to, like, actually enjoy the play and be, like, not just be on pins and needles the whole time.
It's different, and I'm glad that I was able to experience both, right? And I assume it'll be very similar to those who, in the future, who Janney with a chance ripped down on the way.
Gets ripped down and gets a good shot on Belfour. And still a great leg save there by Belfour. Kick save.
Oh! Yeah, I'm on this end of the ice, so I'm looking down on it.
Janney should have had 3 goals in this overtime. That's his second right there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm like...
Belfour is basically standing on his head at this point. Like, guys, fucking come on. Get me some offense here.
Yeah, it was basically the whole... everyone's standing.
There's the Blues playing.
And the Blues are all over Eddie Belfour. Great goaltending by the Chicago netminder. There's another one on Janney.
Is that wave
Shanahan threading beautiful passes out front, and the last one through a crowd right there. Shanahan ready for the rebound.
The Blues playing the and like you said, probably throwing up that graphic. Belfour. Love it.
They did that a lot.
Love it.
They've made a change now.
They were still doing that in 2000 because we just loved chanting his name. Oh, I know they were. I remember it.
It'd be funny to chant Belfour now. Where you're trying to, razz the other goalie, just do the Belfour chant. It'd be funny.
I remember when the Blues hired him as a goalie consultant, and people were pissed. Like, you can't have Belfour be a part of this organization.
Thrown back off by Zombo. Belfner tried to brush it by, could not. Dumped back along by the Blackhawks.
Those are getting some overtime play here.
Corralled by Zombo and ahead for Ron Wilson.
Yeah, this is basically it was kind of how the Capitals treat overtime now with in the playoffs. Of let's get Ovechkin out there every other shift. Second shift, if he's not out there, let's just make sure we get guys that'll keep puck in the offensive zone. And that's what the Blues are doing here. They're throwing out their third line and saying, guys, just keep the puck in the zone until we can get Hawley, Janney, and Janney back out there.
The blade of Emerson stick in the puck.
Oh, there's the gold Easton. The Joe Murphy stick.
Good stuff.
Rick Zombo, there's my pick.
It's a shame he didn't keep that so he could pawn it.
He's had a whale of a game. He's not known as a goal scorer.
I gotta stop.
He picked what's his name? Picked Rick Zombo for the goal for the overtime winner.
Has been on the ice all night long for
The Bucci challenge before the Bucci challenge.
Yes. Bucci was still in diapers at this point. Not really.
No, he was. Yeah, he was probably in his 20s, right?
20s, I would think. Yeah, he was probably in broadcasting school at this point. Yeah.
Lifted back off. It's hung up in the linesman.
I think he's older now than you think.
I think he's in his 60s, isn't he?
I was gonna say I think he's in his 60s. Yeah. So maybe he's not. Maybe you're thinking exactly right.
Blues trying to clear it but can't. But it's
He may have been 30.
and so the Blackhawks have to go back. 3 shots in this
Fun fact,
overtime
this
period,
is from
all
Matt
on
Harris.
Blues stick,
The
and
Blues were
all
playing
off
a
the
part
net
of the,
scramble. Offside
I hope I
called
pronounce
again.
this right,
The little
Dis
things that make the great
Array,
players great.
the
Steve
song
Wonder
that
bringing the
commonly
puck in the neutral
represents
zone. He can
death.
just dump it in. A lot
Yes,
of guys dump it in
I picked up on
mindlessly
that
and
over the
aimlessly. It
organ.
ends up in the goaltender's stick
This
and
was
quickly
this
cleared.
Johnny
He
Johnson
makes a good
that was on the
cross
organ at
corner
this
dump,
point?
enables the breaking left
Ooh.
winger for the Hawks to get in there.
I
and they come up with
don't know. It
possession
might
of
have
the
been.
puck. It's just a little thing, but so
What's
many
his name?
players don't think when they dump the puck in of getting possession. Larmer
Who
had
he did?
that in mind.
What's
He
his name?
wanted to
He
make
did the
sure
Cardinals
his Chicago
organ.
Blackhawks came up with a puck,
um,
so he dumped it in intelligently.
Ernie Hayes.
Oh,
Stanley Cup
yeah.
back.
Ernie Hayes
Might have
was
been.
the organist for the Blues too.
Might have
a while.
been. Yeah. Ernie Hayes.
He did double duty. It's like
I mean, where are you going to get this
Jim Boyd does.
this type of conversation from in St. Louis, right? The fact that we know 2 of the Blues organists' names.
Jeremy Boyer and Ernie Hayes, yeah.
and Johnny Johnson.
Johnny Johnson. Yeah.
There's 3. DS Ire is how you say it. DS Ire.
I'm going to look up, see if it'll give me some dates for Ernie Hayes, Blues organist.
That's a deep cut.
And you just can't beat playoff overtime, man, especially in a deciding game. Oh, my God. The on the edge of your seat, every shot. Oh, my God.
Especially when you're there. I mean, my God.
Oh, it's just, we've talked about it. I mean, it's so much fun. Looking back on it, it's fun, but at the time, it's just painful.
Yeah.
It's just painful and stressful, and it's almost not fun. Because you're living and dying, man. It's like, oh, my God, your heart stops every time a chance against your goalie.
Who is coming to the bench for a change. Meanwhile, it's dealt along by Emerson, and here's Felsner in.
Ronnie Felsner. Oh, God, it gets absolutely taken out. No call.
Yeah.
No, this is literally where you would have to chop a dude's head off to get a penalty.
I think who was playing defense there, I think he got pucked. That's why there was no call. He got pucked first.
I mean, still, overtime hockey in the 90s.
Right. No, yeah.
You're not getting called for anything.
Not unless you take someone's lip off with a high stick, yeah.
Yeah.
4 shots in this sudden death period.
And that's still the way. It's hard to get a penalty in overtime.
I think it's a lot easier now. You still see it now, but back then it was, I mean, it had to be egregious to get a penalty.
I think it's still hard, but it's not. I agree with you. It's not like it used to be. You'll see penalties in overtime now, but it still takes a lot.
I feel like now, if you get a penalty in overtime and you kill it, there's a good chance you're going to get a makeup call. I think at this time, even if it was egregious, you're not getting a makeup call.
I think, well, unless he got high stick there. It was a good play by Chelios, actually.
It was.
A real good defensive play by number 7 of the Hawks.
Jim Schoenfeld agrees with you.
Have another donut. You fat pig. You fat pig.
In this game this afternoon, wearing that 30 pounds of equipment.
That was crazy time, man. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So Los Angeles just beat Calgary.
This one is
or they're
requiring extra time.
Oh, they're still going apparently at this point.
Lifted it back in.
Los Angeles. So that was prior to Gretzky.
Craig Janney was just dumped inside the blue line.
Well,
yeah.
The
got
first
Gretzky
year,
in
the
90. This was I think. What was it? 90.
No, this was the year that LA went to the finals. So they had Gretzky.
McSorley. Yeah, that was 93. Yeah. Yeah, the McSorley illegal stick. That was 93.
Tonight than most teams do. Complete
we even got that in my notes. I should have.
Boy, they've had a fierce game. And of course, it's wearing on Chris Chelios.
Yeah. This was. Was this their first year with Gretzky?
I want to say no, because Edmonton won. Edmonton knocked out LA the first year Gretzky was with LA.
How about you,
I
partner?
believe.
Who do you think?
But then Gretzky came back. I think it was a year or two after.
Oh, yeah, wow, I'm way off. 88-89 was his first year with LA.
Okay, so it was a few years.
Yeah.
No. I picked Zombo.
But I want to say that the first year that Gretzky was in LA, they played Edmonton in the playoffs. And Edmonton beat him. I think Edmonton won the cup
We should know soon.
that year or the year after.
89 was his first playoff with LA.
Around behind, it's taken by
let's
Rutu,
see.
and Rutu moves
Calgary,
ahead.
that's
One of
right,
the
Flames
Blackhawks
won the
nothing
cup
to
that
pass
year.
on for Joe Murphy, back to Rutu,
Okay.
and Butcher fed it off. Dirk Graham a pass, corralled by Jeff Brown. Brown flops it ahead. Rutu
Or did LA beat
Belfour
Edmonton
right on him.
that year?
Rutu able to sweep it out, drilled back
I
in
think
by
LA might have beat
Emerson.
Edmonton that year in the playoffs.
Laid offside
But then Edmonton
twice,
came back next year and won the cup.
Hunter Belton.
Something like that.
Chris Chelios back. Beltner
So
right
Edmonton
on
won
him.
the following
Chelios trying to
season.
get away with it, had Rutu
98,
close by.
I'm sorry,
Cup.
89-90.
Gets as far as neutral ice.
Right.
Graham
Edmonton won the
one-on-one with
cup.
Butcher. Graham a drive,
So,
deflected
but
into the
in
And
net.
93
Edmonton beat LA in the second round
You
of
talk
that
about
year.
doing the little things right. Garth Butcher,
Of that year, but
big
the
wind
first
up by
year
Dirk
Gretzky
Graham,
was in
you just
LA.
take the stick down, you deflect it over the glass.
I believe.
The
they
first
played
year the
Edmonton.
Kings beat the
Chelios to get
Oilers.
that puck up to Dirk
Yes.
Graham.
That Gretzky was in LA.
And Gretzky had a hell of a series too.
Yeah.
One bit, have they?
And they ended up losing to the Flames in a 4-game sweep the following series. And that was in 89.
With less equipment. Coming up from England.
Sorry, folks, for listening to the show all the time. You know that we like to go off on tangents, and that was one of them.
Brown with a shot that went wide. Russell sent
Thank
one
God
wide.
for the internet.
Larmer steps to this and sweeps it behind.
Makes things easier.
Less a factor.
It really does. Makes our jobs easier. Make us look like
Yeah.
geniuses.
Way behind. But if you're
Murray
here,
Barron.
13-20 left in this first overtime. The tie score
Murray
is
Barron's
3.
still holding up the
Ronnie
Hawk player behind the goal.
beats it across.
Yep.
Russell a shot, and it went off Joseph and wide.
Whew, did that really go off Joseph? Whew, he was down and out.
As he was down, yeah. I think he made the save as he was falling.
Cam Russell wheels ahead for the Blackhawks. Back up now for Noonan, and we have a player hurt. Kevin Miller of the Blues is down at
Ooh,
center
he
looks
looked
ice.
dead.
Yeah.
He looks.
Too quickly by
His,
Tom
his
Mack.
eyes are
His
rolled back.
eyes
in
are
his head.
rolling in the back of his head.
It looked like it, unless it was a glare or something.
And it seems to me that Rob Schick has put his whistle in his pocket. There have been about 3 calls.
Are they covering his
or
neck?
3 plays that should have been called. Or could have been called penalties that were in the first 3
Did
periods.
he get cut?
And that's not a good signal
We'll
to give
find
the
out.
players because it gets to the point where
He's
you
holding
have
his
to make
chest.
a
I'm not
call,
sure with the towel.
and then you
He's
really
got a towel in the.
in a bind. Better to call the game in the overtime the same way you called the first
We'll see.
3 periods of hockey.
Replay.
At least the players know what to expect.
They're
And
probably
it all
looking
started
for it in
with
the truck
Janney's
right
chance
now.
early in the overtime when he was pulled down from behind.
Bullshit.
Miller
Bullshit.
took a real good crank right into the boards. From Chicago.
Or if you're in
Brown
Nashville,
is up to his feet.
bullshit.
He seems
You
okay.
suck.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Let's
I don't know
dumb
why
down all
Blues
the
fans
chants.
are upset. Maybe they don't realize because it's like, dude, your player's hurt. Like, give him a chance to get off and get better.
Some folks may be wondering if it was a clean hit. In my opinion, it was a very clean hit. The bad part for the injured party was that, again, the lower ribs met the top of the board, and as Jim Schoenfeld can tell you, those boards don't have much give to them.
Okay.
Yes,
Bo's
I think
pissed.
I would have to agree with you there.
Bo's playing angry.
Thomas.
So I guess
A
they're
little
pissed because there
Coho
wasn't
red
a
fiber,
penalty.
I think.
Schick has called an overtime
I think,
penalty as the Boston Bruins and
Kevin
their
Miller was
fans
using a
well
Coho
know in
red
Game
fiber?
3
Is
of
that
the
what he had
Buffalo
in his-
series,
That's what it looked
In his
like.
hand?
he whistled off Ray Bork.
It seems like it. Yeah, I had a black fiber.
In
That
overtime
was a great
on the
stick.
power play goal.
Funny story about that stick.
Zombo fires one that
Let my
cracks
cousin
off the
borrow
glass
it,
and
and
is
if you're
taken
familiar
by
with the old
Chelios.
Coho fibers,
Chelios wrapped around the
these
view there.
the,
Oh, did he ever step
the
into
two
battle?
longer sides of the stick, the parallel sides of the stick,
Down again by
where
Martin.
it had fiberglass on them. In the middle and the core was wood, so the top and bottom was
Along
wood
by
exposed.
Joseph to Barron.
And I guess where the wood and fiberglass came together, splintered, and my cousin was borrowing the stick, and he slid his hand down the stick
Tight checking out there,
and
very close quarters.
shoved a splinter deep into the palm of his hand
Outside of about a 7,
with a wood stick. It was
8,
something you never hear about,
flurry
right?
by the Blues.
No,
that happened.
Really have not did any scoring
I've done
chances,
that.
but the hit
I
continues.
remember I took a bad.
There it is.
Ooh, Yeah. I remember taking a bad slash into my stick, and I remember feeling it give with a wood stick, and feeling it give, and just being like, I could play with it, play the rest of the game with it. And then I remember as I was like, yes, I used to be one of those guys that had a stick bag, and I remember sliding it into my stick bag, and it just fucking boom, just cutting across the side of my hand, and just getting the worst splinter, and just being like, oh yeah, this stick isn't going to last very much longer. And I think I broke it the next game in the warm-ups. But yeah, oh yeah, that's something that happens to people.
I think we're are we coming up on the big moment here, aren't we?
Pretty close.
Because I think Belfour just played the puck behind his goal and played it properly.
I don't think we're. Yeah, I don't think we're that close, but we're pretty close.
Because I know it's like a similar play that we just saw. That.
Moving ahead with Emerson. As Brown
Come on, Emerson, stay outside.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Play by Curtis Joseph. He caught the puck. He doesn't want to have a face-off in his own end of the ring.
I used to love watching Joseph play the puck.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the way he plays the puck is so. You don't see this the type of way he played the puck there. You don't see that a lot in the NHL anymore.
Well, he would.
He had it in his glove, and then he like skates out with it, drops it to his stick, and one-handed pokes it to his teammate.
He had a play that I'd never seen another goalie do. He would use his knee as a fulcrum and have his right hand on his stick, and he both hands on the top of his stick, above the paddle, and he would use his knee as a fulcrum and flick the puck with the blade of his stick.
I used to
using his knee.
Again, to date myself here, I used to play with a guy, and I don't know if anybody knows him. I don't know if he still plays or not, but I grew up playing goalie with this guy. Alex Gaddy was his name. Played in St. Charles with me. Played St. Peter's Spirit, I believe. He used to do that. And I remember asking him, why the hell do you play the puck that way? And he's like, well, the greatest goalie ever, Curtis Joseph, does it. That's what he used to tell me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess he does.
My brother would mimic Joseph and try and do that.
My goalie did it well when we were kids.
Matt Harris says, another fun fact, he's frat brothers with Jeremy Boyer.
Boyer's a great dude. We haven't had him on the show yet. Like, actually, I've had his work on the show, and I've checked with him and been like, hey, is it okay if I play this? Always gives me the okay. As far as I know, I think he listens to the show. Good dude. We need to get him on. We should do that.
Yeah, let's have him on.
Very good guy.
Let me go. I'm not letting you go till you let me go.
There's Bozon getting tired.
Bozon and Troy Murray.
Yep. Yeah, Murray. Yeah, it's like Murray's what? You've got him completely wrapped up.
The fans didn't like it, and they littered the ice a little bit, so we'll have a slight delay.
Yeah, back in the day when fans would get pissed and just middle of play, just throw shit on the ice.
For the Blues.
Those Sports Authority ads on the boards. I miss Sports Authority. I used to buy a lot of stuff there.
What about the Shop and Save ads? Those
Shop and Save
now.
Yep.
Toronto, Detroit. Next Sunday,
long gone.
the third of our Stanley Cup.
Well, not long gone. Probably what, 5 years?
Like 5 or 6 years. Yeah, Schnook's bought him out.
Yep.
Bobby Basson, one of my dad's favorite players of all time.
Schnook's bought him out. Yeah, he was. Tough guy, too. Short, tough guy. In Edwardsville, there was a Shop and Save right across the street from Schnook's. And when Schnook's bought out Shop and Save, instead of just shutting it down, they opened 2 Schnookses right next to each other in Edwardsville.
There was a similar situation in St. Charles. We had a very similar situation. Yeah.
It only lasted like a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they shut it down, sold it.
I think it was just one of those things where they were probably trying to just reduce inventory. They're like, as soon as we get this down, we'll. You know what? Why are we talking about Schnucks and Shop and Save right now?
The St. Louis thing. The St. Louis thing.
Curtis Joseph.
Oh, this show.
Things go down, so he's telling his players to go upstairs. Now watch this rocket. It's upstairs and almost tears the head off of Curtis Joseph. You missed the net, and now you've got a transition.
Almost tears the head off of Curtis Joseph. Have another donut, you fat pig.
Brown, but he can't get far enough past him to pull the puck to his
I guarantee we'll win Game 7.
The backhand shot, and Eddie Belfour well out in good position.
I guarantee you we win Game 7. How'd that work out for you?
Covers up the rebound.
Belfour 25 for 28 shots.
Shots at overtime right now. Blackhawks 3, Blues 5. Blues are. I mean, it's a pretty close overtime, but I feel like the Blues are getting some pretty damn good chances here.
Yeah, it actually has been.
The goal is coming up very, very soon. Very, very soon.
That's how you play the puck behind the goal, Joseph.
Yep. Yeah, Joseph stops
Just
it
like
behind
that.
the net for the Blues.
Stop it and get out of the way.
Butcher nudged off by Sutter.
I think our winning line is out here on the ice right now.
Yep. It for Emerson, but it went just by him. Emerson trying to get there, and Muni, with all that experience, closed him right
There's
off.
another dump in.
Craig Muni.
Yeah, there's another dump in.
Like
I think it's the next dump in.
Roenick, still great speed in their legs. The stamina.
How about that?
Is
Is that Craig Muni there?
Remarkable.
Wearing a visor. One of the few players in the NHL that has a visor at this point.
Got his first today.
Their season's about to end, boys.
2:58 to go in the third.
Yep.
Sutter and Lemieux. Hull with a pair. Shanahan one for St. Louis. Gymnastics from England.
Matt Harris says those helmets with the super simple Blues word mark are so nice. They are.
Oh, yeah, those old CCM and Yofa helmets.
Yep.
Love those.
That much yet, Mike. So I guess they're settled in for what they think might be a long overtime.
Now there's ads on the helmets, and they're here to stay.
One of the better Blackhawks chances came from a guy that's waited
I
a
don't.
while
It's
to
not
get
a big
out there.
deal. I mean, if you ask if I prefer one or the other, I prefer no ads. But do I really care? Not really.
By Lemieux. Meanwhile,
Not a big
Murphy
deal.
Joseph
outruled by
far
Red
out of his
Zombo.
crease there.
Zombo able to play it while falling across.
Here we
The
go.
Blues had a defensive zone face-off. Now they're breaking out.
Dumps
Brett
it in.
Hall's on the ice, of course.
Blues in the midst of a change. Big
All right, I'm going to turn the volume
There
up
it
here.
is.
Fed back off, and Janney put one in front. Scores!
Okay.
The iconic moment of Belfour breaking his stick on the crossbar.
So the camera doesn't quite show it here, but when Belfour hits a stick on the goal, breaks it over the goal, whatever, he throws it, whips it at Rob Schick.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, they don't quite show it on TV. Can't quite make it out. But, you know, like I said, I was there and I saw where it may even hit Rob Schick's skates. I don't think anything ever came of it, but he was pissed.
Can you imagine if that happened now?
Oh, my God.
Belfour would be suspended for a season. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, he'd be. And you know what? He has every right to be upset because this could have easily been interference.
Blackhawks are already like, it's so funny because like nowadays you probably sit and wait like, okay, let's see what the referees say. Is there going to be a challenge from Toronto?
Craig Janney is
Blackhawks this point, all they can do is say, well, we're done. It's over.
So if you watch Hull and Belfour get tangled up beside the net, and
Lowry
Belfour has no opportunity
makes
to
a hit.
right?
Yeah, I say honestly, Hull's just trying to make a play behind the net.
Well,
But
he's trying to cut between Belfour and the goal,
Yeah.
and Belfour's coming in front, and there was no room left.
And I'll say, like, does this goal count now? No, it does not.
No, not a chance.
But I will say, I don't think Hull's trying to interfere with him. He just does.
I don't think so either. No, he's trying to get to the puck.
Yeah,
you can tell he's not trying to interfere. It's not the kind of player he was.
He's cutting between, because he sees Belfour on the boards, and he's saying, okay, well, I'm not going to go into the boards. I'm going to try and cut between him and the net. But in today's NHL, you can't do that. You just need to hold up and wait for the goalie to get back to his crease.
You can't make contact with the goalie like that. It's
straight in the first round. Chicago and Boston.
There's no way they don't even count this goal on the ice. It's waved off right away. I think it seems obvious.
Yep, I agree. A
There,
sweep
fantastic
for the
game.
Blues.
Fantastic finish. Nice
Such
sweep.
a fun game
my
to
God.
watch.
And it was the height of the rivalry too. I mean, it was so intense. They hated each other. The fans hated each other. This was an era where, there were fights in the stands and Blues and Blackhawks fans. This was a nasty rivalry.
We've told the story on this show of one of my favorite moments of just being a Blues fan I think it was a regular season game, and Curtis Joseph has told this story where you can see right behind the net there was a fight going on between Blues and Blackhawks fans. And I mean, it wasn't just like two people. It was like 10 or 15 people converged on each other fighting. And Curtis Joseph, during play, has his back turned to the play, and he's just watching the fans go at it. And you can see the game clock just ticking down because the play was in the Blues offensive zone. And Joseph's just standing there watching behind him. Like, if somebody would have shot the puck all the way down the rink, he would have had no idea because he was too busy watching the fight. Like, that just goes to show you, man, back in the day, that rivalry between those two teams was insane.
It was nasty. I went to school at SIUC at Carbondale, and that university is in Southern Illinois. But there's a lot of Chicago people that go down to school there. And there's a lot, and there's a fair number of people from St. Louis and the Metro East that go down there too. But for some reason, a lot of Chicago people go down there, and so there's a big concentration of Hawks fans and Cubs fans. And so when you go to the bars down there to watch a Blues Blackhawks game, there's a lot of Blackhawks fans. And man, there weren't any fights or anything that I saw, but there's a ton of fuck the Blues, all that, just all game long. There was hate. People, it's a rivalry. It's a sports rivalry, which is, it's part of what makes sports great for me. I love the rivalries. I love hating another team. It's just fun.
Oh yeah. No, and I've been to, I love the city of Peoria in Illinois. I've been there multiple times back when the Blues had the affiliate there, the Rivermen. I used to go to games at least once or twice a year. I still go. It's probably been 4 years since I've been now, but I used to go at least once a year. I went when they had Shannon Sabatos play goal, and we want to go back. A lot of my friends, we all still want to go back and catch a game there. Great city. But yeah, problem there too is obviously it's not far from Chicago. It's 2-3 hours from Chicago. And so we would go up there and we would catch, back when the Blues were the affiliate, when the Rivermen were the affiliate of the Blues, 80% of the bar would be Blues fans if there was a Blues game on, but you'd still have that 20% that were Blackhawks fans, and they were the boisterous Blackhawks fans. And so it was, this constant, fuck the Blues, no, fuck the Blackhawks. And it was just back and forth constantly. Yeah, well, Vladimir Tarasenko sucks. Yeah, well, Patrick Kane's a piece of shit. And it was just back and forth the whole game. But then when the game would end, it would be like when you're on the rink, you'd hate each other for 60 minutes or whatever, but then you'd be like, hey, good game, and like we would have a Blackhawks fan. I remember once we were sitting there watching the game, and it was an afternoon game, and that's why we went up there. It was a Blues Blackhawks afternoon Saturday game, and then that night the Rivermen were playing, and the game ended. It was like 5:00 when the game ended. Blackhawks fan came up. We had been joking around with him the whole game. He buys us all beers, and he's like, what are you guys doing tonight? And we're like, well, we're going to the Rivermen game. And he's like, oh, me too. Ended up hanging out with the guy all night, had a great time. And it was just like, that's what I love about hockey. Like, you still can, like, have fun. Yeah, maybe you had the fights in the stands. But, we're all there to watch a great sport. And that's what's beautiful about hockey.
I agree. I had some good buddies on the traveling SIUC team that I was on, and a number of them were from Chicago, and good guys. They were Hawks fans, which was, fine, expected, whatever. But yeah, no, like you said, you could. I partied with those guys. They were great. They were fun.
Except when you brought up Dirk Graham, you probably wanted to punch him.
Dirk Graham, yeah, right. Yeah, fuck Dirk Graham. His mustache.
So to close up talking about this game, shots at the end of the game, Blackhawks owned the shots 32-29. Power plays at this time, the Blackhawks were 0 for 7. Blues were 3 for 9. So again, goes to show you how many damn penalties there were in this game, because there was a lot of offsetting penalties too. So just a lot of penalties for a playoff game. In this game, Curtis Joseph 29 saves on 32 shots. Ed Belfour 25 saves on 29 shots. So just a wonderful game to watch. Again, nostalgic for us, but honestly, rewatching the whole game, which I know that, like, clearly you can tell I've got to put these games together when we do this. I have to look at the box score and say, okay, what do I not need to skip? When can I move ahead in the game and the coverage? But I don't watch the whole game. This is the first time I've watched this whole game in probably 20 years. What a hell of a hockey game that was. It's a lot of fun to watch.
So good. And it's this, and I think it stems back to the style of that era too. It's just a fun style to watch because it was more physical. You see more hooking, more clutching, more grabbing. But it didn't slow the game down. People like to complain about, the clutching and grabbing slows the game down. The hell it did. That was a fantastic back and forth end-to-end game. Tons of scoring chances.
It was. So by the end of this playoffs, we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, not intentional. The Blues lost to the Maple Leafs in the next round, 4-3 in the division series. Doug Gilmour, I remember going off, just having a fucking series and just being pissed because he was one of my favorite players and having to root against him. But man, that was
he smoked Joseph behind the goal, back forth, and that was the series clinching goal. Or no, it was overtime winner. Was it the series clincher?
I thought that was in Game 6.
Okay, that was.
I could be wrong.
Forced. Yeah, you might be right, but it was overtime regardless. And fantastic goal, juked Joseph out of his shorts.
Yep. Maple Leafs then lost to the Kings 4-3 in the conference final. So right there, Blues beat the Blackhawks 4-3, then lose to the Leafs in 7 games, and then they lose to the Kings in 7 games. There's some damn good playoff hockey going on there. Very close matchups.
Yep.
And then, of course, in the Stanley Cup final, the LA Kings lost to the Montreal Canadiens 4-1 in the final. And, of course, that leads back to anybody who knows about NHL history, the Marty McSorley stick game that led to the Kings losing that series.
One may argue that it cost them the entire series because they were up 1-0, and had they not gotten that penalty, they may very well win that game. And because it was late in the game, real late in the game, where it was Desjardins scored, I think, on the power play on that power penalty, I believe, and forced overtime. They won in overtime, right? So, and then LA goes up 2-0 if they don't have that, that penalty. So it's a completely different series.
Yep. And with the way Wayne Gretzky was playing in that series, it was like, okay, Kings are going to sweep them, And and then that completely changed. You talked to Barry Melrose. I know he's mentioned this before. That completely changed the complexion of that entire series, that one penalty.
Sure.
Yep. So very crazy playoffs that year. And it's a shame Bill's not here to comment on the last Montreal Canadiens, the last Stanley Cup win for all of Canada, actually.
Yeah, and because by far, it's like 26 Stanley Cups, something like that, 24, 26. And, and they were winning them in bunches throughout the decades, and 93 and stopped, screeching halt.
So also with this game, I'll add for the Blackhawks, just because it's fun to be a Blues podcast and pile on them. So they lost in the Stanley Cup Finals the year before this game, 4-0 to the Penguins. Then they lose 4-0 to the obviously to the Blues. So that's 8 straight losses. They ended up losing the next year to the Maple Leafs in the conference quarterfinals. They did win a couple more conference finals in 94-95, and then ended up losing to the Red Wings. Won another series in 95-96, but then did not win another Stanley Cup playoff game not game, series until 2008, 2009 after that. And that was against the Calgary Flames.
And the next time the Blues played the Hawks was after this series was in like 2001, I believe. 2002. And the Blues won in 5. They lost the first game and won the next 4, I think.
And that was another crazy long shutout streak.
By Brent Johnson.
Yep. Yeah,
Great
that
series.
I remember Blackhawks fans commenting about that, how like they lose to the Blues in 93 because of a great goaltending performance by Curtis Joseph. And then in 2002, same fucking thing. Like Brent Johnson flies off the handle and has a 3-game shutout streak going.
Yeah, it was impressive. And at the time, the Blues had then won 8 out of 9 games against the Hawks. So, and I think the next time after that, I don't know when that was. It wasn't 15, was it? No, they played after that.
The Blackhawks?
Or 16, I mean. 50, it wasn't like 4, was it? The Blues were up 2 games to none, lost a series. That was 14 or 15? That was 15, right?
Hang on. That was 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, Blues had a 2-0 series lead in Chicago.
Right.
And then lost 4 straight.
That was a disappointing series to lose. Yeah, that was bad. So between the 02 series and the 2014, 15, was it 14 series, did they play?
2014 and 2016?
No, before the 14 and between 2002 and 2014.
2014 and 2002, there was no series between the Blues and the Blackhawks.
Okay. So the Blues had won 10 out of 11 playoff games after the Blues went up 2-0 in 14. So that I remember talking about that at the time. That's why I asked. I was pretty sure that was the case. I remember mentioning that the Blues have won 10 of the last 11 playoff games against the Hawks.
Yeah, I remember just thinking they own them. The Blues just owned the Blackhawks, and then the Blackhawks came out and won 4 straight. And
4 straight. Yep.
That was the game that was that game 3? No, game 4. Yeah, game 4. I had tickets to, real close to the rink, and I did not watch that Jonathan Taves overtime winner until 2020. I think was the first time I actually saw the goal, because when he went on the breakaway, I literally did this. I covered my eyes and I said, I'm not watching this, because I knew it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And finally saw that game about 2 years ago.
And 2015, the Blues were up 2-0 on LA, I believe. That was 15. And they lost that series too.
Yep. Alex Steen with the big shorthanded goal.
One of the biggest goals in Blues history at that time. And it's like, and to be 2 years in a row, be up 2-0 and lose the series. Fuck.
I remember referencing at that time too, thinking that is one of the biggest goals in Blues history. And again, it's in a losing series. Mm-hmm. Like, this team just cannot come over that hump until 2019.
Monday Night Miracle was one of the biggest goals, and it was in a losing series. Now, that always bugged me. Your biggest moment in team history to a lot of people, and it was in a series you lost. I always hated that. I mean, let's make that, like, that's why to me, that 93, this game personally was always the best for me, because it was in a series we won. It was a fantastic moment, best game, and we won the series.
Yep. So, and again, that's why when we do our next one, I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I don't know if it'll be this summer or not, because we only got a couple shows left until season starts. But 2001, when the Blues beat the Stars, that was such a big game to me, because that was the year that I thought, this is the best Blues team they have ever put together. They've got the defense, they've got the offense. At the time, it seemed like they had the goaltending with Roman Turek. And it was just like, this is it. And they won that series with a big Game 4 win over a Stanley Cup favorite in Dallas. But you think about these other big goals, big moments in Blues history, was always in losing series. Mm-hmm. Always.
Yep. I guess except for Crombean's goal to in overtime. Was it Game 7 overtime?
Crombeen.
Mike Crombeen? Yeah, Mike Crombeen.
Yeah.
To send the Blues to the conference final, or conference final?
Stanley Cup final.
Stanley Cup final. No.
Right? No.
That was in the 80s.
86.
That was sent them to against the Flames.
Yeah.
Sent them to the Monday Night Miracle series. Yeah.
Yep. That was 86. Yep. Austin Lynch, Shea Ponder, I'm gonna need to get that Let's Go Blues radio jersey. Okay, pay me some money, bitch, and it's all yours.
Show me the money.
That's what I always love, and I'm not, Austin, I'm picking on you just because it's easy, but that's what that's what I always love about hockey guys, is they're always like, oh yeah, I'm in, yeah, I'll take one of those. And like, as a captain, somebody that I've always had to like lead my teams, it's like, okay, I love that you're in for the session, or love that you're in for a jersey, but I need to see that money. Like, I'm not going to put anything together until I know you have paid me.
I'm with you. When I ran my teams, I was in charge of telling people what they owed and making them go pay up in the office, right? And motherfucker, we would every single season, we'd be 3 or 4 games into the season, and they'd be like, hey, you guys still owe like $250. You got a handful of guys unpaid. And I'm like, God damn it, guys, go upstairs to the office and pay. And it was always on me to get these guys to pay. And they've fucking waited 3 or 4 games into the season. And there were a couple of times that you guys can't play unless you're fully paid up this week. No, motherfuckers, get up there and pay your goddamn money.
We deal that all the time. It's always, hey, you guys, like, I remember I've gotten nasty grams now from commissioners of leagues that are just like, you cannot play tonight until you are paid up. And I'm like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm paid. I paid weeks ago. Like, let me fucking yell at my teammates. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And we always got paid. We always paid up. We never had to forfeit a game or anything, but it was always like the last minute for a handful of guys. I'm like, you assholes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
Stressing me out, making me have to deal with the office. Come on.
Yep. And that's part of the hockey life. It's funny. I don't know if I've ever told this story on here before, but one of my favorite men's league captain stories was there was this guy, God rest his soul. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago. But for anyone who's ever played inline, mostly in the St. Louis, St. Charles area, if you might know the name Slapshot Tracy, that's what he went by. Don't even know what his last name was, but his first name was Tracy. And he was this guy that literally he would get the puck and just take slap shots from wherever he was. And this dude had a bomb and would score every time he took a shot. Nobody would block it. Nobody wanted to block it. He was such a good shooter. And he finally came up to me after playing against this guy for 4 or 5 years. And he was like, hey, you got this guy Joe on your team. Me and Joe used to play together when we were in high school. He used to set me up. I used to set him up. I got to get on your team, man. And I'm like, okay. If we get a spot open, I'll let you know. He's like, you got to get me on your team, man. I'm in. For like 6 months, I heard this. Finally, we had a spot open up. So I messaged him, hey, man, you're in. He's like, all right. Shows up to the first week, scores like 6 goals for us. We destroy the other team. And second game, I come up to him, and I'm like, hey, man, you're the only one that hasn't paid yet. I need you to go pay. And he just goes, oh, baby, I don't pay. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I don't pay. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't pay? And he's like, I just come on teams to win. I don't come here to pay. And I go, wow. What? No, everybody pays. Like, this is fucking men's league, dude. Like, this isn't, we're not trying to win the Stanley Cup here.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not getting paid.
Yeah. Like,
we're not subsidizing your league fee.
And he goes, no, every team I play on, they all like pay a little bit more so I can play. And I'm like, yeah, that's not how I run my team.
Is that so? So you can afford to pay now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're not paying for anyone else. And I'm like, dude, no. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm sorry, man. But I'm like, if you're not going to pay, you're not on the team. And he's just like, that's bullshit. And I go, no. That is not bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, he did not play for me ever again.
there's some bullshit in that story, but that ain't it.
No. I was shocked. And I remember he left and we ended up luckily getting another guy last minute to fill in. And I remember telling the rest of my team that, and they all just laughed and they were like, "What? We're playing men's league, right? Like we're not getting $1 million bonus at the end of the season, right?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah. Now, if there were prize money, right, and every player gets prize money, then maybe, hey, okay, we'll bring in this guy and we'll pay a little less, or we'll pay a little more so we can win the money. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, you're playing
Not
for a T-shirt or your name on a trophy at the wherever. That's about all you're playing.
Oh,
for,
that
right?
was that was a T-shirt league. Like I'm not paying an extra $20 for a fucking T-shirt.
Yeah, no.
Yep. Well, anyway, I think that'll do it for this week's show. Kurt, I was looking at kind of the schedule for, I guess, the rest of the summer months leading into the season. We've only got a couple weeks left until we start season 11, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, season 11. We'll break out the new season. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yep, coming up here soon. So we hope you guys enjoyed this Mystery Hockey Theater. We actually got this one to play all the way through, so hopefully that continues and we don't get pulled off. But this one went well. It's a shame Bill wasn't here to enjoy it with us.
Yeah, we've done this a handful of times and just had the one problem, so I wasn't too concerned about this one. So
no, and this was a fun one to watch. So I enjoyed it. Like I
said,
said, we'll do another one sometime. I don't know if it'll be this summer, but at the very least, we'll do another one sometime in the coming years. And
and if there's another pandemic, we'll jump on with with another one.
Let's hope not. So support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on the health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Center Ice Brewery, which provides drinks brewed in our fair city and is available throughout the city and county at numerous grocery stores, liquor stores, and bars. Visit centericebrewery.com to find a vendor near you. That is centericebrewery.com. That will do it for episode 55 of season 10 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. Cheers to all of you, and cheers to our podcasting audience as well. For Kurt Price and the On Assignment Bill Day, I'm Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Make sure you stay tuned in the rest of the summer as we wrap things up and get ready for the new season. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Blackhawks suck.
And hi, Dexter. How's it going?
He says.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sports. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend. They never give a single goal away. And the prove they are champions every day.
All right, we should be good.
All right, I'll double check here. I'm sure we are. Hey,
Yep.
buddy. Yep. No, we're still live.
Say, my cat just walked up now.
It still has us as live on YouTube.
Okay, I'm watching.
The live. Yep, we're still on.
Why?
I don't know.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying. It's not letting me click anything, so I might just need to end this.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
You want to talk about Erica Weston?
No. I do love you, Erica. All right, man. Well,